Chapter 938. Brothers spar, so this is how to play, right? Xianxia, what do you think? Lu Chongxing looked at his son Lu Xian and asked. He also wanted to see the gap between the two's strength. Since brother Xianxia wants to spar, naturally we can. Lu Xian said with a casual smile. He could feel that the Lu Xianxia standing before him was not simple, and he was also willing to exchange hands and compare. Alright, give it a try, just stop when a point is made. Lu Chongxing nodded upon hearing this and pulled his daughter who was watching eagerly to the side and spoke out loud. Xianxia, please enlighten me. Lu Xianxia was very polite, cupping his fists in a salute. Then his body shook, the 5 elements Kunping technique activated, his black magical robe moved without wind. Rustling loudly, the 5 elements spiritual light flowed, transforming into a small 5-colored fish. Brother Xianxia, no offense taken. At this moment, Lu Xian immediately saw Lu Quanzhen's cultivation level and greeted with a cupped fist. Although the other party was much older than him. But reaching the 9th level energy refinement at this age was still very impressive. The lion fights the rabbit with all its might. Even though it was just a sparring between brothers out of respect, he still went all out. As soon as he finished speaking, the golden magical sword in his hand slashed out suddenly. Swoosh. A sharp sword chi tore through the air, reaching Lu Xianxia in an instant. Hoo. Rolling 5-colored torrents surged out from Lu Quanzhen's body, sweeping up with the sword chi. However, in an instant the sword chi burst forth with a blazing light, engulfing the torrent and shooting directly at Lu Xianxia. But just as the giant wave was about to be extinguished, a small 5-colored fish appeared and swallowed the sword chi in one gulp. Crash. The small 5-colored fish in the air was like a great whale drawing in water, swallowing all the nature's spiritual energy from all directions, causing its body to inflate rapidly, growing to the size of 10 feet. Its fins extended, resembling a huge fish with wings, and charged towards Lu Xian to swallow him whole. Good shot. Seeing this, Lu Xian immediately laughed heartily, his demeanor fierce as his sword went forth to meet the attack. The sword light was unselfish, dazzlingly bright, countless sword chi condensed into a semblance of a flood dragon, roaring as it surged forward, stirring up layers of strong winds, aiming to tear the giant fish apart. Boom boom boom. Sword chi flood dragon and 5 elements giant fish continued to collide in combat. But before long, under the fierce and domineering onslaught of the flood dragon, the giant fish retreated step by step, riddled with holes. 5 elements Kunping technique. Lu Xianxia gestured an incantation with the 5 elements rotating around him, making the weakened giant fish roar, suddenly turning its huge body as if a whale leapt from the river, rising into the sky. In an instant, the fins of the fish rapidly became large and wide, turning into a pair of wings swirling with black and white, resembling a peng bird. Screech. The peng bird spread its wings, looking disdainfully majestic as it dove down, instantly tearing the flood dragon in two and opening its mouth wide to swallow all the sword light and attack Lu Xian. It seems that whether it's Xianxia or Xianxia, they're both much more formidable than I had imagined. Lu Chongxing, watching the sparring before him, stroked his chin. If it weren't for the validation match today, he truly wouldn't have known the combat power of his 2 sons. After all, the system only provided feedback for his children's cultivation levels and did not reveal specifics of their combat strength. Beside him, Lu Wangshu also changed from her earlier spectator's demeanor to seriousness, watching her 2 brothers duel. Although she was at the 5th level of chi refinement. Apart from the basic techniques practiced in the school, she had never experienced a true duel. Nor had she ever seen such an exciting match. The duel between the 2 was very exciting in her eyes. Very good, very good. Lu Xian revealed a bit of surprise in his eyes and laughed loudly. He knew that his 17th brother was much more formidable than he had imagined. Such strength, even if placed in the Jinyang Sec sword contest, would be more than enough to break into the top 10. He continued to strike, the magical sword in his hand bursting with endless golden light, sharp sword chi. The blazingly fierce and dazzlingly piercing sword light gradually annihilated the peng bird. Lu Chongxing watched seriously, ready to intervene at any moment. If Lu Xianxia couldn't withstand it, he would step in immediately. Facing this sword attack, spiritual power continuously surged out from inside Lu Xianxia. But a moment later, realizing the gap between them, he immediately switched from offense to defense, making the ping bird cry out and forming rolling tidal waves to block the sword light. And around him, whirlpools of 5 elements appeared, spinning continuously, dissolving the onslaught. That's enough, let's stop here. Seeing this, Lu Chongqing took a step forward, flicked his sleeve and dispersed Lu Qingshan's sword qi. He could see that, although it was just a simple spar, neither of them had held back and their exhaustion was not small. Well done, both of your performances were quite impressive. When we go to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm as your father, I can now rest easy. Lu Chongqing patted both of his sons on the shoulders and praised them aloud. As a parent who doesn't want their sons to be dragons and their daughters to be phoenixes, he was no exception. Then he turned to his daughter, Lu Wangshu, and said, Wangshu, when you have time, ask your brother Chuanzhen and brother Qingshan for more advice and spend more time on cultivation. Don't think about playing all the time, understand? Xia the novel. Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Chongqing lectured, but his voice was very gentle. After all, his daughter might be fond of playing, but she wasn't neglecting her cultivation. I know, Daddy. Lu Wangshu puffed up her cute face, obediently responding. She poked her tender cheeks with 2 tender jade fingers, producing a pop-pop sound, looking very adorable. Then, as if she thought of something, her eyes curved up and she smiled happily, coming to Lu Changsheng's side, holding her father's arm in a sticky tone. Daddy, how about I also ask brother Qingshan for some pointers? But if I do well and win against brother Qingshan, is there a reward? Lu Wangshu, in her pink and white dress, with her delicate face and bright and attractive features, spoke as a gentle breeze blew by, causing several strands of hair to fall on her clean forehead, revealing a pair of bright and full eyes, very charming as they moved. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 939. Brothers spar playing like this, huh? Lu Wangshu's remark made Lu Chongqing, Lu Qingshan, and Lu Chuanzhen all hold back their laughter. Since Wangshu wants to seek guidance from her brother, then your brother Qingshan is of course happy to oblige. Lu Qingshan laughed heartily. If someone else had said these words, Lu Qingshan would have struck them with his sword directly. A mere energy refinement 5th layer dares to speak such words in front of him. Is this an insult? But after all, she is his own sister and he is willing to indulge in her playfulness. Daddy, is there a reward? Lu Wangshu looked at her father with a puffed-up face, seemingly feeling underestimated. Fine, if you can really beat Qingshan, you can ask for whatever you want, Lu Chongqing said, even though he didn't know what tricks his daughter was playing. But he also wanted to see where her confidence and courage came from. Wangu, how about this? You give me half of the reward and I'll just admit defeat, or you can have me lose in any position you'd like, Lu Qingshan teased, clearly seeing that his sister had an upbeat personality, so he joked with her. Brother Qingshan, isn't it said in the books that sword cultivators are all incredibly staunch and unyielding? How can you do something like admit defeat? Lu Wangshu tilted her little head and spoke in a somewhat dazed and adorable manner. Although she saw that her nominal brother was not as cold and aloof as sword cultivators were said to be, she never expected him to say something like that. Losing to one's own sister is not really losing, and besides there are benefits to it, Lu Qingshan said nonchalantly. But I, Lu Wangshu, want to win fair and square. Brother Qingshan, take this. Lu Wangshu puffed up her face as if she felt looked down upon, and her adorable fuming expression made everyone struggle to hold back their smiles. But in the next moment, shoo shoo shoo, Lu Wangshu lightly patted her exquisitely beautiful storage bag at her waist. Suddenly, a slew of talismans streamed out in an orderly fashion, and hung suspended in the air. Holy shit! Playing like this? Lu Qingshan, with a relaxed and casual demeanor, thought had just indulged his sister in her playhouse, curious about what skills she had. But upon seeing this scene he was stunned, and he then looked at his father. After all, if this was how they were playing, he was not going to oblige. Lu Chuanzhen, who was standing beside them, was also slightly startled, his lips twitching. He could tell that most of these talismans were superior-grade talismans and supreme talismans, and it seemed there were even a few second-ranked talismans mixed in. If they fought with these, what chance would an energy-refining cultivator have? But his sister was only at the energy refinement 5th layer and she had so many talismans, even 2nd rank ones. Sir, the novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. He couldn't help but look at his father. Isn't this nonsense? Who spars like this? And it's dangerous for you to use 2nd rank talismans at your current level. You might hurt yourself, Lu Chongqing said irritably. He immediately raised his hand to suppress these talismans, fearing that his daughter might activate them. After all, he saw at a glance that among these talismans, there were 36 superior grade talismans, 9 supreme talismans and 3 2nd rank talismans. If all of them were detonated, not to mention energy refinement, even a cultivator at the foundation establishment level would be grievously injured. Daddy, wasn't it you who taught me to immediately utilize the talisman formation once a fight starts, to never give the opponent a chance? Lu Wangshu made an innocent face and said, besides, I've already mastered the 99 Windfire talisman formation, I won't hurt myself. I did teach you that, but, huh? You said you've mastered the 99 Windfire formation? Lu Chongqing exclaimed, surprised and skeptical. The 99 Windfire talisman formation, while just one of the basic formations in the 99 mystical talisman scripture, still required at least an energy refinement late-stage practitioner to control it. His daughter was only at the 5th layer of energy refinement, clearly unable to do so. I wanted to give you a surprise, Daddy, Lu Wangshu said. Ah, a surprise. More like a scare. That said, Wangshu, demonstrate using some low-quality talismans for me to see. If you can really do it, just name your reward. Lu Chongqing spoke, eager to know how his daughter had accomplished this. All right. Lu Wangshu's face lit up with joy and she patted her storage bag. Suddenly, dozens of low-quality talismans flew out, forming an array in midair which then rapidly spun, connecting energetically to form a talisman formation. Good, good, good. Lu Changsheng's face showed delight, noticing that his daughter Lu Wangshu's mental spirit was extraordinary, no less than that of an energy refinement late-stage practitioner. Seeing that there were no targets around, he turned towards Lu Qingshan and said, Come, Qingshan, critique your sister's formation. These are all low-quality talismans, they won't be dangerous for you. Lu Qingshan, seeing that they were only low-quality talismans, was also undaunted. With his magical sword in hand, he chuckled lightly and said with unconcern, Wangyu, come on, let your brother Qingshan see how good your talisman formation skills are. Brother Qingshan, be careful. Lu Wangshu exclaimed crisply and then rapidly performed gesture incantations. 99 Windfire formation activate. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, boom boom boom. Suddenly the talisman formation spun around, enveloping Lu Qingshan and bombarding him collectively. Confronted with such an onslaught, Lu Qingshan did not spoil the fun by breaking the formation. Instead, his sword gleamed, creating a protective sword chi barrier like a net that neutralized each of the talisman formation's attacks. It's normal for the Jiang country cultivation realm to lack a talisman cultivator lineage. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to practice even if they had it. Lu Chuanjun watched the scene and felt emotional. Even though low-quality talismans only cost 1 or 2 spirit stones each, so many talismans would still cost nearly 100 spirit stones. Just to practice and experience the talisman formation once would cost 100 spirit stones. How many people could afford such an expense? Even Lu Wangshu could do this only because of her father's doting. Daddy, how was it? Lu Wangshu tilted her chin up slightly, with a bit of a proud and adorable expression. Ah, not bad. Have you been secretly practicing the mystic symbol forging divine technique to strengthen your mental spirit? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 940. Brother Spar, is this how you play? Lu Chongqing rubbed his daughter's black silky hair, smiling as he spoke. He guessed that his daughter had spent quite some time on the mystic symbol forging divine technique for nurturing the spirit. See Teach Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. I told you I fish for cultivation, Daddy. You didn't believe me, now do you believe it? Lu Wangshu said with a face full of grievance. Alright, Daddy wronged you. Lu Chongqing couldn't help but laugh wryly. Besides cultivating and making talismans, his daughter also cultivated the mystic symbol forging divine technique, So he could only say that his daughter wasn't slacking and was very diligent. Or you could say his daughter's talent in cultivation was truly exceptional, capable of multitasking. He looked at his daughter and continued, "Tell me, what reward do you want? Do you want to upgrade and recast your beloved boat or something else?" I want you to make me a puppet," Lu Wangshu stated. "Making a puppet, no problem, just tell daddy what kind you want later." Lu Chongqing didn't refuse. His daughter had always been interested in puppets, liking to tinker with them. Or rather, his daughter had interest in puppets, alchemy, artifact refining, talisman making and beast taming. "Dad, I'm going to the Purple Shadow secret realm this time. It might be very dangerous. Do you have any treasures for self-protection? Perhaps a few second-rank talismans, not too many, just give me a few dozen." At this moment, Lu Qingshan stepped forward and spoke out. Lu Wangshu's mouth gaped open, shocked by Lu Qingshan's cheekiness. She had to find a reason before she could ask her father for things. She didn't expect Lu Qingshan to straightforwardly ask for a few dozen second-rank talismans. Roll, do you think second-rank talismans are cabbages? Lu Chongqing spoke irritably. He himself only had a few thousand talismans on hand. When his son just asked for dozens, it really showed that those who don't make talismans don't know the difficulty. But still, he fished out 2 stacks of talismans from his storage bag and handed them to Lu Qingshan and Lu Chuanzhen. 10 each, no more. It's not easy for your father to make even some talismans daily. Thanks, Dad. Lu Qingshan quickly accepted them, expressing his thanks. "Thank you, father." Lu Chuanzhen saw Lu Qingshan accept them and naturally didn't refuse. "Brother Qingshan, aren't you a sword cultivator? Why do you still need talismans?" Lu Wangshu asked Lu Qingshan. "Being a sword cultivator doesn't mean I can only use a sword. It's good to have many skills. If I encounter any magic artifacts that counter flying swords, I can either blast them with talismans or use them to escape," Lu Qingshan said in a carefree manner. "Isn't it said that all sword cultivators have a resolute heart, preferring to break rather than bend, charging forward undeflected?" Lu Wangshu continued to inquire. He wasn't pretending to be ignorant. She simply hadn't encountered sword cultivators before. Everyone outside said so, misinforming one another. Resolute heart, preferring to break rather than bend, refers to the sword cultivator's belief in not going against their conscience, not recoiling in seeking mercy, hence many sword cultivators are filled with pride. But many times when one clearly can't win and can escape but chooses to court death instead, that's a sign of mental issues. Lu Qingshan explained. "Oh, I see, I always thought training with a sword would damage the brain," Lu Wangshu said as if a light bulb went off. At this moment, Lu Chongqing thought of something and turned to ask Lu Qingshan. "Qingshan, where would Chuanzhen rank if he participated in the Jinyang sect's sword trial?" He had wanted to ask this question earlier, but it had slipped his mind because Lu Wangshu interrupted him. Brother Quanzhen's strength should easily make the top 10. Lu Qingshan pondered briefly before answering. "Top 10? Qingshan, what's your ranking in the Jinyang sect in such sword trials?" Lu Chuanzhen, hearing this, took a moment, then immediately asked. He had just felt that Lu Qingshan's combat strength should belong to the top echelon among the immortal sects. Otherwise, the disparity in combat strength among the disciples of the sects would be too exaggerated. "I'm naturally first," Lu Qingshan replied with a suave smile. "Brother Qingshan, you're really amazing." Lu Wangshu was somewhat surprised, just realizing how powerful her adoptive brother was. After all, achieving first place no matter where was extraordinary. Just so it's just being first in Jinyang sect. In 2 years, you country's 5 great immortal sects will hold a sword trial, and if I seize first place then, my name might get known even here in Jiang country. Later, if you encounter any issues, you can just mention my name," Lu Qingshan said nonchalantly. "You can't bear to not show off, can you?" Lu Chongqing was somewhat speechless. "Dad, don't you think such things add to one's prestige? In the future, when people see you, they'll exclaim in admiration, 'Look, that's the father of Qingshan, the sword immortal.'" Lu Qingshan joked. "Just don't cause me trouble and I'll be thankful enough." Lu Chongqing spoke irritably. Hearing Lu Qingshan's words, Lu Chuanzhen felt much more serene inside. He now knew his younger brother was not just top tier, but among the most elite. Currently, his own combat strength was not far behind the true transmissions of the immortal sects. Once I break through foundation establishment and comprehend the yin-yang 5 elements Kunping technique and cultivate its several techniques and secrets, my combat strength will further improve. Lu Chuanzhen murmured to himself, not at all disheartened, confronting his own reality. Then the group returned to the Lu family mansion, chatting and laughing all the way. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 941. Repeat rewards. Head to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. In a certain valley, a tall and robust figure was practicing martial arts. His black hair was thick, his body nimble, and as the sunlight shone upon him, his muscles appeared to gleam with a thin layer of gold, as if they were cast in gold. Wham! 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 The man's punches and kicks flew, creating whooshing and whistling sounds as they moved through the air. Nearby trees and giant stones shattered under the force of his blows, exploding like dynamite, turning into dust, wood chips and stones filling the air. Although Lu Pingon had already reached the pinnacle of the martial path, with no further steps to climb, he still persisted in his martial arts practice. One reason was the habit he had formed since childhood. Another reason was that he found many martial techniques to be particularly effective in close combat against cultivators, yielding unexpected results, so he continued practicing to integrate and master them. The final reason was that he discovered that practicing martial arts could speed up the refinement of the magical treasures within his body, making it a form of cultivation. Open Mountain. After practicing for a while, Lu Pingan's breathing suddenly changed, sounding like the roar of a dragon or bellow of an elephant, his breath heavy as if his body was as majestic as mountains and as grand as peaks, with all his tendons and bones singing harmoniously and his internal organs rumbling. Then his right fist swung out like a dragon snake taking flight, slamming forward ferociously. If someone observed with the spiritual spring technique, they would see a giant axe appearing faintly behind Lu Pingon, chopping down forcefully. Boom! In an instant, the mountain range in front of him erupted with a thunderous noise under the overwhelming force of the punch, echoing throughout the valley and startling birds and beasts with shrieks. After a while, once the dust settled, the mountain seemed to have been split by a giant axe, leaving behind a deep, charred and smoldering crevasse. I've finally mastered it. Lu Pingon exhaled a heated breath, his majestic physique now charged with a more wild and domineering presence, intimidating to those around. This punch was a result of his enlightenment through the nurtured treasure bones. Using the treasure bones as a medium, he fused the spirit meat with them to borrow a fraction of the power and presence from the magical treasures within his body. Previously, due to his physical limitations, he couldn't grasp this power. But now, at the energy refinement late stage, having broken through to the 5th layer of the 100 refinements treasure body art, he finally mastered this power through continuous familiarity. Pingon brother, Pingon brother. At this moment, a crisp female voice rang out. A petite figure in a red dress approached, curious and playful, calling out as she ran. Jiuer. Lu Pingon saw Su Jiuer and immediately reined in his aura, turning his head to look and greeted her cheerfully. Out of guilt for accidentally killing her pet after she had saved him, he felt particularly indebted to her. So, seeing Su Jiuer all alone and lonesome, he stayed to keep her company and to chat, brightening her spirits. Usually, he would practice martial arts in his spare time, slowly becoming familiar with and integrating the power of the 100 refinements treasure body art. As their interactions increased, their relationship grew more cordial. He treated her as his little sister, and at some point she started calling him Pingon brother all the time. Pingon brother Xiaobai has given birth. She had 3 little Xiaobais. Su Jiuer's eyes curved into crescents, her face full of joy as she spoke to Lu Pingon. Oh, let's go have a look. Lu Pingon said with a smile. Sar the novel no. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Su Jiuer's life was quite monotonous and dull. Her days consisted of looking at plants, playing with crickets and bugs, or casually strolling through the forest. So Lu Pingon caught a few demon beasts for her, cleared a vegetable garden and dug a pond. At least then she would have something to do. Feed the demon beasts, tend to the garden, watch the frogs in the pond and go fishing. These trivial and mundane tasks were full of fun for Su Jiuer, and she felt very happy and content with them every day. Soon the two of them arrived at a small bamboo grove where they lived. The place had taken on more of a lived-in feel since Lu Pingon had cultivated and improved it. Then they went to a nest built of stone where 2 white tigers lay. Upon seeing Lu Pingon, the 2 tigers immediately showed fear. Although Lu Pingon knew some basic beast taming knowledge, it was only theoretical. So, to subdue these 2 tigers at first, he used the most ancient and simple method and fought them for half a month. This caused the tigers to fear him deep down. Now you could see one of the tigers lying exhaustedly with 3 newborn tiger cubs suckling on her. The 2 did not disturb them and just quietly observed the tigers. After a while, Lu Pingon took one of the tigers, Dabai, out hunting. It's been about half a year, hasn't it? That night, Lu Pingon, Xiaoan, and Su Jure gazed at the stars in the night sky. He remembered that it had been about half a year since he arrived here. He had been thinking of returning home for a while. After all, he had told his father that he would return once he reached the 7th level energy refinement. But he also felt that leaving would make Su Jure very lonely and sad. Lu Pingon took a deep breath, realizing that this matter had to be addressed sooner or later. He couldn't stay here with her forever. He clenched and then unclenched his fists, mustering his courage, and turned to the girl. Jure. What is it, Pingon brother? Su Jure crouched on the ground, hugging her knees, smiling as she looked up at Lu Pingon. Lu Pingon looked at the girl's cheeks and suddenly didn't know how to start. After scratching his head and with an apologetic expression, he said, I actually have some other matters and can't stay here all the time. Su Jure felt a tremor in her heart upon hearing this and a sense of loss. After a while, she finally spoke softly, Pingon brother, will you come back to see Jure in the future? She might be naive, but she understood that Lu Pingon couldn't stay with her forever. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 942. Repeat rewards. Head to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. He had his own matters to attend to, just like his parents had theirs to do. CT Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Yes, I'll come visit Jure when I have time. Lu Pingon quickly nodded and said. He planned to take care of the parasitic cultivators who had tried to kill him before, then return home. When he headed for Zhou Immortal City, he would come to see his sister. Brother Pingon, you can't lie to me. Come see me when you have time. Let's pinky swear. The girl's eyes seemed to twinkle with a bright glow as she stretched out her fair finger and solemnly said, Okay. Lu Pingon grinned and extended his finger to pinky swear with the girl. Brother Pingon, when do you plan to leave? After the pinky swear, Su Jure smiled with her eyes squinting, appearing radiant and moist under the night sky. In a few days. Lu Pingon thought it over, feeling he should spend a little more time with Su Jure. Brother Pingon, please take good care of yourself when you leave. Grandma says it's very dangerous outside. Although Su Jure felt quite disheartened, she tried to appear as natural as possible. She knew that showing her sadness would affect him. That night, the 2 talked for a long time until the grandmother reminded Su Jure to go to bed, and she returned to her bamboo house to rest. Lu Pingon also returned to his own room to rest. Lu Pingon. At this moment, an old woman with white hair, a withered face, holding a serpent-headed cane, appeared in the room. Grandma. Lu Pingon looked at the old woman and called out. After spending so much time together, he knew that this grandmother was a cultivator. But her specific name and cultivation level were unknown to him. He only knew that she was taking care of Su Jure. Otherwise, he would have considered taking Su Jure home with him so she wouldn't be so lonely and bored. When you leave this place, you must not speak of Jure's matters to anyone. The old woman's voice was aged as she said this. Please rest assured, Grandma. I will certainly not speak of your and Jure's matters. Lu Pingon might have been a bit naive, but he wasn't foolish. He was aware that Su Jure and the grandmother must have some secret, which was why they lived here. After some thought, he took a heart demon oath on the spot. Because words alone were not reliable for cultivators, this oath was extremely solemn. Good, you can come see Jure when you have the time. Seeing this, the old woman's voice softened slightly and she vanished. Through her observations over the past 6 months, she saw that Lu Pingon was forthright and not a malevolent person. Otherwise, even if he appeared to be a descendant of a true monarch, she wouldn't have let him leave so easily. However, throughout these 6 months, she felt that Lu Pingon didn't seem like the descendant of a true monarch at all. He seemed more like an ordinary martial artist who had come upon a great fortune. Otherwise, how could it be that one on the immortal path still practiced everyday crude martial arts? 7 days later. Lu Pingon bid farewell to Su Jiao. He wanted to say something but felt that anything he said would be superfluous. Eventually, he merely scratched his head and softly said, "Ju, take care. Brother Pingon, this is the peace charm I made for you. I hope everything goes your way safe and sound." The girl's eyelashes trembled slightly as she nodded with a smile, taking out a talisman pouch. "Thank you, it's very pretty." Lu Pingon received the talisman pouch and earnestly said. He had noticed days earlier that the girl had been clumsily making the talisman pouch, obviously putting in a lot of effort. "I'm off." Taking a deep breath, he waved his hand and said, "Aha." Lu Pingon took large strides without looking back, knowing that Su Jiao must be watching him. But at that moment he couldn't help remembering his own parting with Qin Yi years ago. Back then, like Su Jiao, he had bid farewell. Only at that time they were divided by their mortal and immortal realms. She was headed for the distant Heavenly Sword sect, while he had chosen to return home to take over the family business, so their chances of meeting again were virtually non-existent. But now it was not a farewell forever. Suddenly, Lu Pingon turned around, his face beaming with a smile, and loudly said, "Zhou, don't worry, I'll come back to visit you when I have time. Brother Pingon, have a safe journey." The girl's face showed a smile. Phew. At that moment, Lu Pingon felt his heart was much more relaxed and carefree. Then with a light step, his figure blurred like a phantom towards the direction of the cliff and the ruined temple. Time flew quickly, and in the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. Originally, Lu Chongxing had planned to take Lu Wangshu to the Luoyun mountain range during this time to visit Xianxia. But because of the opening of the Purple Shadow secret realm, and the return of Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu to the family, this plan was naturally postponed. He planned to wait until the matters of the Purple Shadow secret realm were finished before taking his daughter Lu Wangshu out for a trip. As the time for the Purple Shadow secret realm's opening drew near, many family forces and loose cultivators headed towards the realm. During these times, though sales of elixir medicines, talisman, puppets and magic artifacts had increased, it wasn't by a staggering amount. One reason was that everyone was aware of the secret realm and would have made preparations in advance. Another was that, although there were many going to the secret realm, once averaged out, the number seemed quite ordinary. However, sales of the puppets from Bihu Mountain had seen a significant increase over these months. In the puppet workshop within a side hall, Lu Chongxing was crafting a custom-made puppet for his beloved daughter. His daughter Lu Wangshu was helping by taking care of the children, playing with Lu Lingxiao and Lu Lingyi. Baiyu. Lu Wangshu made a gesture towards Lu Lingyi, who paused for a moment before Wu collapsing to the ground. Sitting beside them, Lu Lingxiao watched the scene with disdain and speechlessness, feeling that the two were exceedingly childish, while focusing on their father engraving spiritual patterns. Lu Lingyi, however, was having a great time, and then looking up with a sister, he called out to Lu Wangshu for some candy. "Wangshu, eating too much candy is bad for your teeth. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 943. Repeat rewards. Head to the Purple Shadow secret realm. Lu Chongxing looked at the two sisters and spoke up to remind them. "Daddy, since when do cultivators have bad teeth?" Lu Wangshu revealed her own snow-white, neatly arranged teeth. Then with a flick of her index finger and thumb, she popped a candy into her little sister's mouth, saying, "Right, Xiaohe?" "Mm-hmm." Lu Lingyi nodded vigorously. Watching this scene, Lu Chongxing couldn't help but wonder. Was having Lu Wangshu spend more time getting close to these siblings a good thing or a bad thing? Could it lead them astray? He felt it was necessary to seriously consider this issue. Long after Lu Chongxing finished polishing a puppet part and stood up, calling it a day. Although he said he was making a puppet for his daughter, such a project with its great scope would certainly take a year or two to deliver. Lu Chongxing, with his children in tow, left the puppet workshop and returned to the Lu family mansion. "Husband, today I saw a young woman who I think would be very suitable for Chuanjin." Chu Jinjin approached Lu Chongxing as soon as she saw him, eager to share. Because of the Purple Shadow secret realm matter, Lu Chongxing had not asked Lu Chuanjin to return to White Tiger Mountain to take charge. instead leaving the matter to his son Lu Qingsong. And during these days Chu Zhenxin's routine marriage pushing had resumed. After all, with 4 children, Lu Yuzhen, Lu Caizhen, and Lu Huaizhen all settled down, it was natural for her to put her heart and soul into getting the eldest son, Lu Chuanzhen, married. Alright Zhenxin, you make the decision. As long as Chuanzhen agrees, I will go propose immediately. Lu Chongqing smiled and nodded, wanting nothing to do with these matters. But Chuanzhen is avoiding me and I don't know where he's gone. Chu Zhenxin said, feeling somewhat aggrieved. 2 months ago, Chu Zhenxin had finally cultivated the auspicious tree as her life-bound spiritual root. The effect was a few notches below Lu Miao's, boosting her only to the 8th level energy refinement. However, she did undergo quite a change. Not only did she look a few years younger, but she also gained a somewhat ethereal and natural aura. That night, Lu Chongqing attempted dual cultivation with Chu Zhenxin to see if he could gain any special traits from the auspicious tree. At the end of their dual cultivation, Lu Chongqing's mental spirit was utterly calm, free of all distractions, as if had entered a sage-like state. Because of this, he immediately gave up on practicing the tender embrace technique with Chu Zhenxin. In the long run, who could withstand such tranquility? It's good that Chuanzhen is dedicated to his cultivation, and getting married later is no problem. Let him be. Lu Chongqing said offhandedly. Although he encouraged his children to procreate, he still maintained an attitude of letting nature take its course. After all, he would still support them if the children wished to pursue cultivation diligently. But getting married doesn't affect one's cultivation. Chu Zhenxin replied. Although she had heard that getting married could hinder cultivation, her own husband, with a bevy of wives and a house full of children, didn't seem to be affected in the least. Thus clearly that rumor was false. Children and grandchildren have their own luck. Zhenxin likes children so much, we could have a few more. Lu Chongqing wrapped his arm around his petite wife and whispered in her ear. Husband. Upon hearing this, Chu Zhenxin's cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Such an old couple they were, with children already so grown, and yet they were contemplating more kids. But Chu Zhenxin thought of the books that stated if both parents were formidable, the children they bore would be clever and formidable, with exceptional talents. If she could become a foundation-building great cultivator like her sister Miaoyun, the child she and her husband would have might be as outstanding as Qingshan, with exceptional talent. At this moment she felt a twinge of anticipation. After all, her husband truly adored children. And she could see that he showed a bit more affection for those with extraordinary talents. That day, a system notification resounded in Lu Changsheng's mind. Congratulations, host, for 100 of your progeny breaking through to the martial Dao innate, granting a bloodline effect. A 3% increase in the probability of offspring having spiritual roots and a chance for 1 lottery draw. It's changed from fertility probability to offspring spiritual root probability. Lu Chongqing noticed a change in the bloodline effects granted by the system. It had previously been about the probability of him having more descendants. Now it was about the probability of his offspring having spiritual roots. 3%, not bad at all. Lu Chongqing didn't feel the probability was small. On one hand, there was still potential for improvement in the future. On the other hand, the probability of mortals giving birth to offspring with a spiritual root was exceedingly low. The Lu family's 3rd generation numbered over 240 people now. Yet among them, only 19 children had a spiritual root. The reason was simple. When it came to childbirth, even with policy encouragement, the primary population still came from the secular world without spiritual roots. On by Lake Mountain's side, only a few obedient children like Lu Yun and Lu Xinji started families early and had offspring. Few other children chose to marry. Lu Chongqing was roughly aware that it should be because of himself, a father with a 9th grade spiritual root, having achieved so much. Therefore, even the children in the family with lower grade spiritual roots still harbored some dreams of foundation establishment, striving as much as possible while they were young. Not even 100, and it's just a normal lottery. Lu Chongqing, seeing it was only a normal lottery, felt somewhat listless. Having experienced several advanced level lotteries, he gradually became somewhat disdainful of normal lotteries. However, since he had already received the child money, he naturally wouldn't waste it. System, draw the lottery. As his words fell, the system's great roulette began to spin rapidly. Then it slowly stopped at the elixir medicines category. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a bottle of Purple Mansion elixir. The reward has been delivered to the system space. The host may check it at any time. An image of an elixir appeared from the roulette accompanied by a system notification sound. Purple Mansion Elixir? The system rewards can draw duplicate rewards? Lu Changxing's eyebrows raised. He had drawn the lottery over 40 times now. This was the first time he had drawn a repeated reward. Elixir Medicine. Purple Mansion Elixir. Quality. 3rd rank. Description. Can purify the soul, clarify the physical body, strengthen the divine sense and physique. Indeed exactly the same, but this Purple Mansion Elixir is still quite good. Lu Changxing pondered about the Purple Mansion Elixir in his system space. Although the Purple Mansion Elixir was not as good as the Coagulation Crystal Elixir, a bottle of 10 pills could still be considered top-tier elixir medicines. Originally, after he had consumed 10 Purple Mansion Elixirs, not only was his physical body enhanced, but his divine sense jumped from the initial stage of Foundation Establishment to the Foundation Establishment late stage. This improvement could not be said to be small. Now that Xuanzhen and Xianxia are about to break through Foundation Establishment, this Purple Mansion Elixir will be used by them when the time comes. Lu Changxing thought to himself. Now that his physical body and divine sense would get limited effects from consuming the Purple Mansion Elixir, it would be better to let his children consume it. After all, when they broke through their realms, it would also reflect back onto him. Immediately, Lu Changxing extracted the Purple Mansion Elixir from the system space and placed it into his storage ring. Looking at the time, the Purple Shadow Secret Realm should also be about to open. Lu Changxing thought of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm and prepared to send Lu Xuanzhen there. As for Lu Qingshan, his master Tianyuan True Immortal had already indicated he would come to receive him, so it was unnecessary for Lu Changxing to escort him. Soon after, Lu Changxing explained things to Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao and Lu Qingshan, and then took Lu Xuanzhen away from Bai Lake Mountain towards Ziyun Gorge, where the Purple Shadow Secret Realm was located. The distance from Bai Lake Mountain to Ziyun Gorge was not very far. Heading north, it was approximately a month's journey by controlling a spirit boat. Just as Lu Changxing was sending Lu Xuanzhen to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm in a mountain range, it seems to be in this direction, right? Pingon, look, am I going the right way? Lu Pingon, tall and robust in a green outfit, rode on a black spirit horse, holding a map and asking Pingon beside him. Pingon looked at the map for a long time, then nodded, indicating it should be correct. Since it's right, then let's set off again. Lu Pingon promptly packed up the spirit horse and continued on his way. Sir the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. 3 months ago he had been continuously investigating and had blasted to death several parasitic cultivators who had ambushed him. During this time he heard the news that the Purple Shadow Secret Realm was opening. Having long known of the famous Purple Shadow Secret Realm, Pingon knew that it was most renowned for producing primary spiritual medicine for Foundation Establishment elixirs, the heavenly spirit fruit. Thinking of his current strength, an idea suddenly sprang to mind to take a trip to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. He hoped to see if he could gain anything and find a few heavenly spirit fruits. In this way, not only would his own future Foundation establishment be hopeful, but he could also prepare Foundation establishment elixirs for his aunt and siblings. So he bought a map and instead of going home he changed his course toward the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 944. Pingon, how did you get here? Ziyun Gorge. The entire gorge extended for hundreds of miles, flanked by vast and lofty mountain ranges. Due to the presence of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, there were almost no traces of demon beasts along this section of the gorge. Even if a few demon beasts occasionally appeared, they would be hunted by passing cultivators and nearby family forces. On this journey, what one truly needed to be cautious of was other cultivators. Because the Purple Shadow Secret Realm opened once every 30 years, it was common knowledge. Many chose not to venture into the secret realm but instead turned into robber cultivators, lying in wait to ambush and kill here. At this moment, Lu Changxing was steering a spirit boat, taking Lu Xuanzhen into Ziyun Gorge. He wore luxurious dark robes, standing tall and straight on the spirit boat with his hands clasped behind his back, exuding an aura of profound stability and confidence. emitting a faint foundation establishment spiritual pressure. Facing such a spiritual pressure, naturally no robber cultivator dared to act recklessly. After all, most robber cultivators were merely energy refining cultivators. They would only target seemingly easy-to-bully loose cultivators. This made Lu Chongqing muse whether there might be foundation establishment cultivators intentionally disguising themselves, coming here to fish for law enforcement. After all, the cultivation world never lacked such idle people. Moreover, instead of robbing poor loose cultivators, it was better to rob robber cultivators. Soon after, Lu Chongqing drove the spirit boat through the gorge and arrived at the end. Ahead was a vast expanse of yellow soil slope. At the center of the slope seemed to be a large purple altar. Scattered around the altar were numerous cultivators, numbering in the hundreds. It was quite bustling. 99% of these cultivators were energy refining cultivators. However, most of them possessed the cultivation level of the energy refinement late stage. Most foundation establishment cultivators like Lu Chongqing were sending family juniors or descendants. However, they mostly had 3 or 4 or even 7 or 8 energy refining cultivators by their side. Like Lu Chongqing, who only brought one person, was rather rare. Seeing Lu Chongqing's spirit boat slowly descend, a few nearby energy refining cultivators immediately showed a respectful demeanor and moved aside to make room. To avoid offending Lu Chongqing or being deemed displeasing by him. After all, the moods of foundation establishment cultivators were unpredictable. If one was in a bad mood and found them bothersome, attacking them would leave them nowhere even to cry. This purple shadow secret realm really is lively. Lu Chongqing put away the spirit boat and looked at the scene, clicking his tongue. Although he had visited Zhou Xian Immortal City and Azure Phoenix Immortal City, he had never seen such a gathering of hundreds of cultivators ready for action like in the purple shadow secret realm. At this time he spotted people from Qingzhou Mountain and 100 Birds Lake in the crowd. Qingzhou Mountain was led by someone he knew, Lu Miaofeng. In total there were 4 people besides Lu Miaofeng who was at 9th level energy refinement. The other 3 were only at 8th and 7th level energy refinement. Lu Chongqing did not go up to greet them. He came here incognito this trip and had disguised himself along with Lu Qianzhen. After all, concealing one's identity made things more convenient, as showing one's true appearance easily invited trouble. Not just him, many cultivators present had disguised themselves. Qianzhen, if you wish, you could later join Miaofeng and the others. Lu Chongqing transmitted a message to his son Lu Qianzhen at his side. He had previously learned about the Purple Shadow secret realm from Qingzhou Mountain. Everyone entering it would appear randomly within the realm. But they could meet up immediately using transmission talismans, yin-yang sensing talismans and other such items. Thus, at this moment one could see many loose cultivators and family juniors recognizing each other and forming groups. After all, besides seeking opportunities, the Purple Shadow secret realm also served as a trial site for the disciples of immortal sects. Disciples of immortal sects may not be bloodthirsty. But who could say in such situations one must prepare for the worst? Emichung. Lu Qianzhen, dressed in black robes with a scholar-like demeanor, nodded in agreement. The 2 of them rested on the spot, waiting for the 4 great immortal sects to open the secret realm. As time passed, more and more foundation establishment cultivators with their disciples and successors arrived. At that time, Lu Chongqing saw an elderly man with a majestic appearance stepping down from a golden spirit boat with 6 energy refining cultivators. Golden Dragon Ridge. Lu Chongqing's eyes narrowed slightly as he saw the newcomers. He then said to his son beside him, Qianzhen, if you encounter people from Golden Dragon Ridge in the Purple Shadow secret realm, join up with Qingshan and slaughter them all. Despite the Jin family patriarch coming forward to apologize and make amends, it was purely to save face. Moreover, they had been suppressing the business interests of White Tiger Mountain openly and secretly over the past year. Faced with this situation, he could not do much directly, but with such an opportunity, naturally he would not be polite. Of course, the main reason was his confidence in his son's abilities. Even if Lu Qingshan was not there, Lu Chongqing was quite reassured about Lu Quanzhen's situation. Second-rank puppet, a full set of top-tier magical artifacts, talisman treasure bronze go, a pile of second-rank talismans. In such a situation, how could a few energy refining cultivators be his match? Even foundation establishment cultivators would get a headache encountering Lu Qianzhen. Lu Qianzhen was somewhat surprised by his father's words, but he merely smiled and squinted his eyes, glanced at the people from Golden Dragon Ridge and responded softly, "Father, rest assured." Time passed bit by bit. As more and more people gathered, Lu Chongsheng learned that many Family Forces Foundation establishment cultivators came to buy resources, heavenly and earthly treasures. After loose cultivators exited the secret realm, they would conduct transactions. Because the four great immortal sects only collected some rare resources. The remaining resources, which most loose cultivators didn't need, were directly traded here. Or they would use resources to hire someone to escort them to the marketplace. See Teach Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Never thought this Purple Shadow secret realm would have so many ins and outs. Lu Chongsheng clicked his tongue in realization, now understanding why many family forces openly came. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 945. Pingon, how did you come here? Because the family had a good reputation, people were willing to trust them even if their purchase prices were cheaper by a few percentages. However, he was now disguised, which made it inappropriate to engage in purchasing activities. Just then Lu Chongsheng suddenly opened his eyes as if he sensed something. He saw a tall, burly, dust-covered man looking like a wanderer of the rivers and lakes who had found a spot to sit down in the distance. Lu Chongsheng instantly sensed a familiar aura from the person. Pingon. Lu Chongsheng swept his divine sense and immediately saw through the disguise. Isn't Pingon supposed to be traveling? Why has he come to the Purple Shadow secret realm? A trace of surprise appeared in his eyes as he transmitted his voice. Lu Pingon, come here. Ah. Lu Pingon, upon hearing this, was startled and looked around in confusion. He didn't return home this trip, knowing that if his father knew he was aiming for the Purple Shadow secret realm, he would likely disagree. So he decided on his own to come here secretly. Unexpectedly, he had just arrived at Ziyun Gorge when he heard his father's voice. He looked around but did not see his father, Lu Chongsheng. Moments later, he saw a man in his 30s with a dignified appearance and a profound aura, wearing a dark robe, walking toward him accompanied by a scholarly young man in a black robe. Your father? Lu Pingon asked, somewhat unsure. The man in the dark robe looked nothing like his father as he usually appeared. Indeed. Lu Chongsheng answered, nodding slightly. His current disguise tactic wasn't as simple as his early years' disguises. Not only was he using a fate-defying robe to mask and contain his aura, but he also wore a specialized disguise mask. Unless a nascent soul immortal used divine sense to investigate, it would be hard to discern his real face. Lu Qianzhen was also disguising his appearance and aura. Pingon, why are you here? Lu Chongsheng brought his son to the side and asked. I heard that the Purple Shadow secret realm was opening, so I thought I'd come to check it out. Maybe I could find something. Lu Pingon scratched his head, looking somewhat sheepish. As if worried his father might misunderstand, he hastily explained, Father, I'm not overestimating myself. I had some fortuitous encounters before and I've reached the 5th level of the 100 Refinements Treasure Body Art, so I dared to come here. 100 Refinements Treasure Body Art's 5th level? Lu Qianzhen next to him narrowed his eyes in surprise. In his younger years, Lu Chongsheng had taught him the 100 Refinements Treasure Body Art. However, he didn't excel in it and eventually abandoned this cultivation technique. Unexpectedly, his elder brother had advanced this technique to the 5th level, which meant his physical body was comparable to a spiritual artifact. Since you are already here, would I blame you? Lu Chongsheng said to his son, sounding a bit irritable. Thank you, father. Lu Pingon immediately relaxed and nodded. It was usually fine dealing with Lu Chongsheng, but in his current disguised form with an inherent authority that commanded respect, it genuinely made him nervous. Father, why are you here? Lu Pingon continued, looking at Lu Qianzhen, eager to know who this was. Via the Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. I came to bring Qianzhen here. Lu Chongsheng answered. Big brother. Lu Qianzhen called out with a smile, his demeanor gentle and scholarly. You're Qianzhen? Lu Pingon looked at Lu Qianzhen, surprised. Then he said, Father, isn't the Purple Shadow secret realm quite dangerous? Qianzhen coming here, He did not know much about Lu Quanzhen's situation. Only that this younger brother's cultivation level wouldn't be much higher than his own. Xianxia too has had some opportunities. He is now at the 9th level of energy refinement. When you both enter the secret realm, you can contact each other through your identity jades and look after each other. Lu Chongqing instructed. Energy refinement 9th level. Lu Pingon looked surprised, not expecting his younger brother to have reached the 9th level of energy refinement. However, considering he himself had encounters, it was quite normal for his siblings to have some fortuitous adventures. Rest assured, father. You have any preparations for entering the secret realm? Lu Chongqing asked. I did inquire about the Purple Shadow secret realm and learned some information about it. Lu Pingon said somewhat awkwardly. Sigh. Lu Chongqing shook his head helplessly. He then took them to a secluded spot and took out a stack of talismans and a couple of bottles from his storage ring to give to his son. In the past he would have carried a plethora of magical artifacts and heavenly and earthly treasures on him. But now, with a family to care for, the previously acquired magical artifacts and treasures were all placed in the treasure pavilion at home for the family to manage. Therefore he only had elixir medicines and talismans with no spare magical artifacts. Otherwise he would have equipped his son with a complete set of magical artifacts. Thank you, father. Lu Pingan's heart warmed as he thanked his father. Big brother, do you need any magical artifacts? See if there's anything you could use. At this moment, Lu Qianxia took out several top-tier magical artifacts and asked. These artifacts had been prepared by Lu Chongqing for him, complete for offense, defense, escape and support. No need, I have magical artifacts. Lu Pingon quickly waved his hands, feeling awkward about taking his younger brother's artifacts. Big brother, I have a robe and I won't be using this spiritual armor. Take it. Lu Qianxia, knowing his elder brother practiced body cultivation, handed Lu Pingon a piece of spiritual armor. Since Qianxia is offering it so kindly, then accept it. Be extra cautious on this trip into the secret realm. Lu Chongqing, pleased to see his sons getting along well, said with contentment. He then informed Lu Pingon about some points to be wary of in the Purple Shadow secret realm. Although Lu Pingon mentioned he understood the realm's situation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 946. Pingon, how did you come here? But he knew without thinking that most of it was just baseless gossip spread by loose cultivators, with truth and falsehoods intermingled. It was better not to believe in them at all. After Lu Chongqing had finished speaking, he continued to instruct. By the way, if you see any rare spiritual medicine like heavenly spirit fruits, just uproot them completely, and later put them into Quanzhen's spirit plant bag. This trip to the Purple Shadow secret realm, he naturally thought of the heavenly spirit fruits that were abundant within. Though the heavenly spirit fruit was only a second-rank spirit fruit, aside from in the Purple Shadow secret realm, it was practically impossible to grow elsewhere. But for such a situation, Lu Chongqing thought of his little green bottle. He believed that he could try to cultivate heavenly spirit fruits using the myriad spirits bottle. If he could successfully grow and harvest them, his family wouldn't need to worry about foundation establishment elixirs in the future. All right, father. Lu Pingon nodded his head. His main purpose before was the heavenly spirit fruits. He now firmly committed these words to memory. Encountering any rare spirit flowers or spirit grasses, he would uproot them all. By the way, what's going on with you having broken through to the 5th layer of the 100 Refinements treasure body art? At this time, Lu Chongqing became concerned about his son's second-order body refining. At the time he found out that Lu Pingon had a body refinement breakthrough, he was flabbergasted for quite a while. Lu Pingon scratched his head and shared his experience. He mentioned that he previously encountered an ambush and coincidentally, an ironback centipede and a vermilion toad entered his body. At that time he was almost unconscious, about to pass out. Sarch * the novelier. Website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But the light had appeared before and the 100 Refinements treasure body art had run automatically, refining the magical treasures and both poisons inside his body, so he broke through the 5th layer. As for the matter with Sujur, because he had previously promised her and sworn an oath that bound his heart demon, he didn't mention it too much. Be more careful in the future. Lu Chongqing patted his son's shoulder and said solemnly. The process might sound simple, but he could hear the danger in it. Because he knew that the Hope Gu worked only when encountering a hopeless situation. This indicated that, at that time, Lu Pingon was actually on the verge of death. Father, I understand. Lu Pingon nodded again and again. He himself was quite frightened after the fact. After explaining everything, the trio returned to the area around the altar. The presence of a false core immortal. Just as they sat down, Lu Chongqing sensed a dominant aura coming from the south. Soon after, a white jade tower ship with intricately carved beams and lavish decorations approached from the sky. At the forefront of the ship's deck stood a long-haired woman, enchanting in appearance, exuding charm in every gesture. She wore a light pink sheer palace dress, which made her graceful figure distinctly visible. Especially her pair of snow-white beautiful legs, lightly covered by the sheer dress, revealed their shape, yet added a hazy temptation. It's Huan Yin sect. It seems to be the bewitching melody real person from Huan Yin sect. People immediately loudly exclaimed and observed the magnificent ship. The false core immortal from Huan Yin sect? Lu Chongqing glanced a few times but did not look anymore. Though this false core immortal was overflowing with allure, capturing the unwavering attention of many who wanted to look but dared not stare. To Lu Chongqing she was quite ordinary. The reason was simple. A dignified false core immortal actually had an air of vulgarity about her. This behavior, however, seemed to surprise Lu Chuanjin, who was next to him. After all, his father was famously fond of women. And as one of Jiang country's top family forces, Huan Yin sect was known for its female cultivators, music mastery, dance, bewitching technique and beauty. The fact that his own father showed so little interest in Huan Yin sect was unusual. Seeing the dust-covered figures on the deck of the ship, he also showed disdain. The Huan Yin sect's ship did not descend but hovered silently in midair, waiting for the secret realm to open. Such behavior was extremely disrespectful to the cultivators below, akin to trampling on their heads. Yet none of the cultivators present dared to say anything. After all, the Huan Yin sect possessed nascent soul-level strength, with a false core immortal leading the group. Not long after the Huan Yin sect arrived, another sect from the duo of sects and trio of cities and great clans, Daoist Mountain, made its appearance. It was a sect that specialized in alchemy. The famous Elixir Cauldron Pavilion was a business under Daoist Mountain. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Suddenly clouds churned in the distance and thunder roared, followed by a massive commotion. A divine vessel pulled by 9 nine-headed wind thunder steeds cut through the air and approached. All of the second-order monster beasts soared across the sky amidst clouds and thunder, their imposing manner stunning. On the divine vessel flew a flag with the dancing character, Su. Beast-taming Su family. What a grand display, using 9 second-order monster beasts to pull the chariot. Which ancestor of the Su family has come in person? Many cultivators whispered upon seeing this, their eyes filled with apprehension and respect. After all, as one of Jiang country's 3 great clans, the beast-taming Su family had deep roots and a far-reaching reputation. Beast-taming Su family. Lu Chengsheng's eyes narrowed slightly as he saw this display. He remembered Su Rian mentioning that the beast-taming Su family had taken notice of him. However, the person leading the group on the divine vessel did not seem to be the third ancestor of the Su family mentioned by Su Rian. As these nascent soul-level forces hovered in the air, conversing across the distance, each seemed more grandiose than the last, inspiring awe and envy in the cultivators below. After all, most people cultivated not only for longevity but also to someday ascend to such levels of lofty eminence. No wonder the presence of a nascent soul immortal signifies a top-tier force. At this moment, Lu Chongqing truly understood why a clan or power with a nascent soul immortal at its helm was considered top-tier. Without a nascent soul immortal, such a family power could hardly accumulate any heritage. Just like White Tiger Mountain. Despite its lineage reportedly spanning 1,000 years, its foundations were quite limited. Once faced with risk or crisis, it could be destroyed at any time. Like Huan Yin sect, Daoist Mountain, and beast-taming Su family, these powers could at the very least sustain several false core immortals to stabilize the situation, waiting for the birth of a new nascent soul immortal. As the opening of the secret realm approached, Qingyun sect, Luoxia sect, and spirit-taming sect arrived almost on time. All three sects were led by nascent soul immortals. Apart from the spirit-taming sect, which rode a formidable quasi-third order golden sculptor spirit beast, Qingyun sect and Luoxia sect respectively traveled in giant ships and magical towers, seeming much more unpretentious. However, despite the ordinary displays of these two great immortal sects, none in the field dared to underestimate them. As the time for the Secret Realm's opening drew near, the nascent soul-level sovereign of Jiang country, the Heavenly Sword sect, arrived fashionably late. The sect's flying magical treasure was simple: a gigantic flying sword that tore through the sky with tremendous spiritual pressure. Standing on the flying sword were about 30 Qi refinement disciples, all clad in white sword attire, carrying magical swords on their backs, their expressions stoic, radiating sharpness. Leading them was a stern-looking teenager of about 15 or 16, dressed in a plain white robe and with ordinary features. If not for the immense spiritual pressure emanating from his body and the boundless sharp aura, it would be hard to tell he was a nascent soul immortal. Heavenly Sword Sect. Yujin Zhenren. All cultivators of Ziyun Gorge gazed at the arrival from the Heavenly Sword Sect, their faces showing a respect. The several nascent soul-level powers that had arrived earlier all stepped forward to greet them. Ha! Lu Pingon looked at the newcomers from the Heavenly Sword Sect, and when he saw a slender figure on the flying sword, his expression suddenly froze. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 947. First Love. Lu family's F3 attacks. Qin Yi. Lu Pingon hadn't expected to run into Qin Yi here. Seeing her successfully join the Heavenly Sword sect and become one of its disciples, he felt genuinely happy for her. After all, from their early conversations, he knew it was her dream to join the Heavenly Sword sect and become a sword immortal. Lu Chongxing, noticing his son's sudden change of expression, immediately looked towards the huge flying sword of the Heavenly Sword sect. The disciples standing on the flying sword were both men and women, most of them quite young, in their 20s or 30s. Pingon, do you know someone from the Heavenly Sword sect? Lu Chongxing looked at several female disciples, asking aloud. Lu Pingon hesitated for a moment before retracting his gaze and calming his emotions, saying, "Yes, an old acquaintance from the past." A woman. Lu Chongxing raised an eyebrow, continuing his inquiry. Lu Pingan's face showed surprise, momentarily at a loss for words. But under his father's gaze he eventually nodded his head. "The same young girl you met during your travels years ago?" Lu Changsheng's face suddenly showed a hint of playfulness. He thought to himself that after so many years, his son still remembered that young girl. Indeed, first love is hard to forget. Without experiencing 3 or 5 romances, this first love is not easily forgotten. He figured it would keep fermenting in his heart, becoming ever more idealized and unforgettable. Lu Chuanzhen by his side showed a hint of gossip upon hearing this. He had interacted with Lu Pingon numerous times. Thus he understood a bit about his older brother's character, knowing him to be very diligent and upright. Now it seemed he was also a man of deep feelings. Though he had no experience with love, having such a father, he always found it odd that their family would produce such a devoted and passionate individual. Under these teasing gazes, Lu Pingon nodded with a somewhat heavy heart. "Which one? Point her out to your father." Lu Chongxing, as a father, immediately took interest in his son's romantic affairs. Sia the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. That might not be appropriate, Lu Pingon said with some embarrassment. It had already been more than 10 years since they last met, and back then neither had expressed their feelings. Now the way his father was acting made him feel awkward. What's there to be embarrassed about? Your father just wants to take a glance, not immediately ask for your hand, Lu Chongxing said, seeing his son act so coy. He slapped him lightly on the head. At such an age and yet so little progress in matters of the heart. Under his father's pressure, Lu Pingon reluctantly pointed out Qin Yi. "So, Pingon, you like this type?" Lu Chongxing looked at a female disciple standing on the enormous flying sword, a woman around 25 or 26 with slender eyes, ruddy lips, a straight nose, wearing the robe of the Heavenly Sword sect and with a high ponytail, radiating a heroic spirit. Lu Pingon remained silent. Though he was somewhat happy to see Qin Yi, he didn't want to reunite. Years of cultivation had taught him that the issue of his spiritual root was of great importance. If Qin Yi were to learn that he had stepped onto the immortal path, it could bring trouble to his family. If you like her, pursue her boldly, Lu Chongqing said as he patted his son's shoulder. However, seeing his son's somewhat somber and silent demeanor, he paused and guessed his son's thoughts. Back then Lu Pingon felt he was a mere mortal and immortals were different, so he didn't want to hold her back. Now that Lu Pingon had embarked on the immortal path, the matter of the spiritual root was ultimately significant. If it were known, it might cause trouble. Sigh. Lu Chongqing sighed in his heart. His son was very responsible, which caused him to overthink many things. He thought that maybe when they returned home he should ask his wife, Lu Miaoyun, to find a few women with similar charm and temperament for his son to meet, in hopes to help him move past these feelings. Sometimes you can be bolder. Lu Chongqing stopped teasing his son and spoke seriously. Then turning to Lu Chuanzhen beside him, he said, Chuanzhen, if you meet someone you like, remember to be bold. Your mother has been nagging you about this recently. I understand. Lu Chuanzhen hadn't expected the conversation to turn to him and replied helplessly. Qingshan, how come you're not here yet? At that moment Lu Chongqing, seeing that all 4 great immortal sects had arrived, indicating that the secret realm would soon open, wondered why Tianyuan True Immortal hadn't yet brought Lu Qingshan. Concerning this, he could only think that Tianyuan True Immortal lived up to his stereotype of being unreliable. However, just as he had this thought, he saw a divine rainbow shooting down from the clouds above, carrying an astonishing momentum that made everyone look up. Is that a nascent soul immortal? If all 4 great immortal sects are already here, why is a nascent soul immortal coming? A cultivator exclaimed upon seeing the divine rainbow. Besides for events like the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, nascent soul immortals rarely appeared in public. To suddenly have 5 nascent soul immortals appear today was extremely rare. The divine rainbow was fleeting and soon settled in mid-air. Once the brilliant light dispersed, a giant gourd appeared before everyone's eyes. Standing atop it was a stunning woman in her 30s, wearing a lavish scarlet gown, and sitting beside her was a young man in his 20s with star-like eyes and sword-like eyebrows, dressed in white and gold. The woman was none other than Tianyuan True Immortal. Unlike her usual casual demeanor, today her hair was neatly tied up, her gown tidy, and her entire demeanor exuded a noble and majestic aura as she said to the Yujin Jinren of the Heavenly Sword Sect, Yujin Jinren, I trust you've been well. Tianyuan True Immortal, what brings you here? Yujin Jinren, with a stern face, looked at Tianyuan True Immortal. I was just passing by. Hearing about the opening of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, I thought to send my disciple here for some experience, Tianyuan True Immortal said with lightly parted red lips. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 948. First Love. Lu family's F3 takes action. As the words were spoken, the 4 nascent soul immortals and the disciples of the 4 great immortal sects present all turned their attention to Lu Qingshan. Faced with such scrutiny, an ordinary person would have felt like they were being pricked by thorns, their complexion turning pale and showing an ugly demeanor. But Lu Qingshan stood up with a calmness that was unparalleled. An invisible pressure allowed the aura that had merged into his blood and bones from sword-charging bull's might to slowly rise, giving Lu Qingshan an indescribable power that surged within. He stood with a straight back, and it seemed as though there was a sharp sword inside his body, capable of piercing the heavens and swallowing the stars. It gave off a sense of fearlessness, lawlessness, and a firm belief that he could overcome all, both in spirit and in momentum. Just this spirit and momentum alone made all the disciples of the 4 great immortal sects reveal a look of solemn respect on their faces. Especially the disciples of the Heavenly Sword Sect. As sword cultivators, they felt an unstoppable, domineering sword intent from Lu Qingshan. Immediately, several disciples of the Heavenly Sword Sect looked at Lu Qingshan full of fighting spirit, wanting to spar with him in a match. What a sword Dao seedling! Yujin Jinren praised, gazing at Lu Qingshan, who stood upright like a sword atop the gourd. As a nascent soul immortal from the Heavenly Sword Sect, he had seen many talented sword Dao geniuses. But people like Lu Qingshan could be counted on one hand in hundreds of years. What's your name? Yujian Jinren asked. Ordinarily, let alone an energy refining cultivator, even a foundation establishment cultivator would not be worthy of him personally asking their name. But he took a liking to a sword cultivator like Lu Qingshan. He believed that as long as the other did not die prematurely, he would certainly become renowned in the cultivation world. Sir, the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Qingshan, I've seen the true Immortal. Lu Qingshan spoke neither humbly nor arrogantly, giving a cupped fist salute. Good Lu Qingshan, I shall remember you. You may come to our heavenly sword sect to challenge us in the future. Yujian Jinren nodded and said so, tossing an identity token to Lu Qingshan. A challenge among sword cultivators was their way of sparring. As the representatives of the martial cultivator faction, sword cultivators were always known for their powerful combat abilities and combative fighting techniques. Moreover, fighting technique apart from cultivation also needed to be built up through battle after battle. Thus, many sword cultivators, after reaching a certain stage in their cultivation, would travel far and wide to challenge others, to refine their sword heart and sword intent. Many thanks, true Immortal. Lu Qingshan graciously caught the token, replying with a cupped fist salute. Tianyuan true Immortal has taken a good disciple. A nascent soul Immortal from the Wuxia sect voiced their admiration from the side. Jiang country and Yu country neighbored each other, and there were many interactions on regular days. Thus, the nascent soul Immortals from the two countries, even if they hadn't met, generally recognized each other. More tempering is needed. Tianyuan true Immortal's face showed a hint of a smile while saying so. She was willing to spend so much time running around because her disciple, Lu Qingshan, greatly satisfied her. After all, when she accepted Lu Qingshan as her disciple in the early years, it was simply because she valued his Gingjin body constitution and wished to continue the legacy. But now, as Lu Qingshan increasingly demonstrated astonishing talent, she began to truly cultivate him as her personal disciple. As the four true Immortals conversed, several powers led by false core cultivators also looked towards Tianyuan true Immortal, sizing up Lu Qingshan. They knew that in this trip to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, another formidable opponent would be added. As for the cultivators below, they only looked up into the sky from afar, not knowing what was going on. Qingshan. Among the crowd, Lu Miaofeng and others recognized Lu Qingshan. But at this moment for them, Lu Qingshan could only be looked up to. They weren't even qualified to have a face-to-face conversation. However, seeing Lu Qingshan standing high above them, they also felt a sense of pride and shared glory. Indeed, the big shots all have to step on something. Lu Chongqing sighed upon seeing this scene. He then turned to Lu Pingon beside him and said, "The one above is your younger brother Lu Qingshan. After you enter the secret realm, you can contact Qingshan through your identity token." On Lu Qingshan's return this time, he naturally made identity tokens for Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu. Through the token, the Lu family disciples could sense each other, communicate, ask for help, confirm identities and more. Ah, younger brother Lu Qingshan? Lu Pingon was taken aback upon hearing this. When Lu Qingshan was born, he was already living a secular life. And by the time he came to Qingzhu Mountain, Lu Qingshan had been accepted as a disciple by Tianyuan true Immortal. Therefore he had never seen his younger brother Lu Qingshan. Leaving aside Lu Qingshan, of the more than 200 siblings in his family, he was somewhat blind and couldn't recognize them. So, when walking around by Lake Mountain, as long as someone called him brother, he would just treat them as his siblings. "Dad, what's this situation with brother Qingshan?" Confusion was written all over Lu Pingan's face as he looked up at Lu Qingshan in the sky. He was unaware of why his brother had such a grand scene, and there were even nascent souls seeing him off. He was previously taken in as a disciple by a true Immortal of Yu country's Jinyang sect, and this time he just happened to come to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm for the trial, explained Lu Chongqing. "This is his master, Tianyuan true Immortal." "Ah, I see." Lu Pingon looked at Lu Qingshan and nodded. He had just learned that he had such an outstanding younger brother. However, when he thought about his father's divine skills, it seemed normal for the family to have several strong siblings. Still, when he looked up at Lu Qingshan and then at Lu Chuanjin, who had reached the 9th level of energy refinement, he felt a certain pressure in his heart. It wasn't out of a desire to compete. As the eldest brother, he felt that even if he was to fall behind, he couldn't afford to fall behind too much. After the immortals in the sky had chatted enough, or when the time to open the secret realm arrived, the nascent soul immortals leading the 4 great immortal sects, headed by the Heavenly Sword sect, came forward to the purple altar in the center, each holding a purple gold token. Mana of the nascent soul level was poured into the tokens. Buzz, buzz, buzz. On the altar, purple light emerged, interweaving enigmatic and unpredictable runes, glittering ceaselessly like stars. All the runes interwove, gradually forming a pentagram formation map, making the earth tremble. Then several massive pillars of light soared into the sky, tens of meters in height, awe-inspiring, turning heaven and earth into a shade of purple and green. While countless people were terrified, feeling the air getting heavier, a huge void portal slowly appeared above the altar. The portal, like a black hole vortex, was unclear inside. Yet it emanated an ancient and vicissitudinous air, seemingly from another world out of place here. So this is the secret realm. Lu Chongqing was shaken as he stared at the portal in front of him. This was his first time seeing a secret realm. According to ancient records, most secret realms in the cultivation world were handed down from antiquity, opened by great spiritual adepts. But for some reason they reappeared in the world and could be accessed through certain methods, entering the secret realm. Secret realms could vary widely, some being desolate with even the risk of spatial collapse at any moment. The purple shadow secret realm in front of them belonged to the rare kind that contained great opportunities. However, only energy refining cultivators could enter. If Foundation establishment cultivators attempted to enter, it would destabilize the secret realm and result in their expulsion. Not just Lu Chongqing, many others were also shaken at the sight. The purple shadow secret realm will last for 1 month. All may enter the secret realm but must follow these rules. Yujian Jinren of the Heavenly Sword sect's calm and indifferent voice spread throughout the valley. A huge yellow list appeared in the air, its golden characters delineating the rules of the purple shadow secret realm. All cultivators entering the secret realm must surrender half of their findings afterward. Various heavenly and earthly treasures appeared, indicating that these could only be traded with the 4 great immortal sects. You were only allowed to take them with you if you acquired multiple rare heaven and earth spiritual materials. We will strictly obey the Immortals' decree. The cultivators in the field responded in unison. The rules of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm were well known to everyone. And even if they weren't, there was no room for dissent. Then the cultivators from the Heavenly Sword sect, Qingyun sect, Wuxia sect, and Spirit Taming sect successively entered the portal. Shortly after, several Jidan forces and false core level forces followed. At this time, Lu Qingshan entered the secret realm on his sword. "Father, we're going." After most had entered, Lu Pingon and Lu Chuanjin addressed Lu Chongqing. "Be very careful," Lu Chongqing advised. "Father, rest assured." The two nodded, then directly entered the portal. Phew. Lu Chongqing watched his sons Lu Pingon and Lu Chuanjin enter the secret realm, taking a deep breath, his heart feeling somewhat heavy. Even though he had confidence in his sons, it was their first time and he couldn't completely stay detached. Swish, swish, swish. About half an hour later, nearly 90% of the 1,000 energy refining cultivators had entered the secret realm. The once teeming hillside was suddenly empty. Only a few Foundation establishment cultivators remained, along with some large boats, ships and treasure pavilions floating in the air. 1 month. Lu Chongqing looked around, exhaled softly and sat down cross-legged to rest and rejuvenate, waiting for his sons to emerge from the secret realm. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 949. 3 brothers explore the secret realm. Lu Pingon and Lu Chuanjin entered the portal and immediately felt the world spinning around them. Every direction turned into void, pitch black, unable to use any mana at all. The legend says that entering the Purple Shadow secret realm feels similar to the long-lost teleportation array, and indeed it does. Lu Chuanjin muttered to himself, trying to make out his surroundings. But darkness enveloped him on all sides, endless and colorless. Had he not been forewarned, encountering such a situation suddenly would have sent shivers down his spine. After a moment he felt a bit sore all over and dizzily opened his eyes. So this is the Purple Shadow secret realm. Lu Chuanzhen rubbed his temples and surveyed the area. He found himself in a forest dense with spiritual energy, mist swirling around. Most striking was the purple gloom covering the sky dome. After ensuring he was in a safe area, he gently tapped his storage bag, setting up a simple formation to regulate his condition. Although the teleportation hadn't affected him much, since he was now in the secret realm, it was natural to maintain the best condition at all times. After all, with so many cultivators entering the Purple Shadow secret realm, conflicts and killings were inevitable. And the acquisition from the realm, amounting to 50%, was to be handed over to the 4 great immortal sects. This included spiritual herbs and medicines, and heaven and earth spiritual material tainted with the essence of the realm. Assets pilfered from other cultivators such as money, magic artifacts and spiritual objects were not included. Thus, most people in the Purple Shadow secret realm died not at the hands of demon beasts, but at the hands of other cultivators. At that moment, Lu Chuanzhen felt something and pulled out his family token from the storage bag. It indicated someone was within the range of the token's sensing. He immediately knew it was his elder brother Lu Pingon. After all, without even thinking, he knew his younger brother Lu Qingshan wouldn't likely seek him out immediately upon entering. The two had agreed that after entering the realm, they would see about meeting up in the central area, treating the outer zone like a trial area. Lu Chuanzhen infused spiritual power into the token, responding to Lu Pingon. This elder brother, with a steady nature, was not overly competitive and wouldn't be a hindrance. Moreover, being a practitioner of second-order body refining, he was reliable and provided an additional layer of security. As spiritual power was infused, the two identity tokens gradually formed an invisible connection, sensing each other remotely. They could discern each other's rough location through the tokens. He had always wanted to gauge the gap between himself and a disciple of the Immortal sects. His previous sparring with Lu Qingshan was mere practice and didn't reveal much. Now encountering a Wuxia sect disciple, he naturally wouldn't miss the chance to test his skills. Courting death. Seeing that Lu Chuanzhen showed no intention of leaving, instead looking at her as if she were prey, the girl's face flushed with anger and she slapped her pale palm. Whizzing. In an instant, countless silver needles shot towards Lu Chuanzhen, densely packed and nearly impossible to defend against. The ground, where a corpse with a heart-pierced chest was, also buzzed as the sharp cones spun madly, rushing towards Lu Chuanzhen like a frenzied drill. 5 elements Kunping technique. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 950. 3 brothers explore the secret realm. Lu Chuanzhen formed a gesture incantation with both hands, and suddenly, a 5-colored fish appeared from the depths of the black pool, darting towards the girl in the yellow dress. Not good. The girl hadn't expected that Lu Quanzhen's previous attack still held a hidden maneuver. She immediately formed a protective aura around her body. But in an instant, the 5-colored fish shattered the protective aura piece by piece, frightening the girl into abandoning her offensive and urgently driving her defensive magic artifact. Clang, clang, clang. A purple shield orbited around Lu Quanzhen's body, forming a purple-colored shield that enveloped him completely. With both hands performing a gesture incantation, he fiercely unleashed a 5-colored torrent, sweeping grandly through the air. Boom! Struck by this onslaught, the girl was sent flying backwards explosively. However, as a disciple of the Wuxia sect, she was evidently not weak and was not defeated just like that, though her face looked rather embarrassed. Who are you for an independent cultivator to possess such strength? The coldness in the girl's eyes was evident as she spoke. Though it was true that a few formidable figures occasionally emerged among independent cultivators, like the Qinghuan Immortal, the #1 independent cultivator in Jiang country. But such instances were rare. In nearly 1,000 years, there had only been one Qinghuan Immortal. 99% of independent cultivators had strength far inferior to the disciples of the Immortal sects. Seeing that Lu Chuanzhen did not speak, she produced a small yellow mirror in her palm. The mirror radiated a golden light towards Lu Chuanzhen, while the previously used silver needles and sharp spikes continued their assault towards him. But just in that moment, Puchi! A dazzling five-colored fish directly penetrated the girl's protective aura, piercing her heart with the speed of lightning. Erg. The girl's body shook violently, her eyes filled with disbelief as she stared at her own chest. She could only feel a surging, overwhelming force shredding her internal organs as blood gushed out. How could this be? Her gaze fixed on Lu Qianzhen, but before she could finish her words, her body heavily collapsed to the ground. Bright red blood pooled around her, her beautiful eyes wide open in death. So this is a disciple of the Immortal sects. Lu Qianzhen looked at the deceased girl with a calm and indifferent expression. If this was all that an Immortal sect's disciple amounted to, then it truly was too uninteresting. Confirming that she was dead, Lu Qianzhen stepped forward and burnt all 3 corpses to ashes, then briefly dealt with the storage bags. For example, he tossed their sect tokens, magical robes and so on into the black pool. Though entering the secret realm implies taking responsibility for one's own life and death, everyone knew to avoid getting entangled with disciples of the Immortal sects or major clans to avert trouble. After finishing, he plucked the water cloud lotus from the black pool, stored it in the spirit plant bag, and continued towards the direction of Lu Pingon. In a dense forest. No wonder it's called the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Spiritual medicines can be found everywhere. Lu Pingon uprooted a spirit plant, placing it into his storage bag with a face full of joy. Though he had never lived in poverty, he was well aware of the hardships at the base of the cultivation world, where spirit stones were hard to earn. His family managed to maintain a balanced expenditure solely because of his father's support. Thus, seeing so many spiritual medicines on this trip and reaping spiritual medicines worth several hundred spirit stones in a short time, his heart was overjoyed. He felt that going forward like this, he could gather tens of thousands of spirit stones from this trip to the Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Although in the end he had to hand over 50% to the 4 great immortal sects, he was satisfied to keep the other half. Lu Pingon continued towards Lu Quanzhen's direction. Though he wished to reunite with his younger brother soon, he knew the dangers of the realm and that he shouldn't be reckless or impatient. In the blink of an eye, half an hour had passed. Lu Pingon had initially felt that he was quite lucky, stumbling upon spiritual medicines as he walked. But now, having gained nothing for so long, his mood was rather depressed. Just then, suddenly, a roaring bellow of a demon beast came from the side. This sound immediately caught Lu Pingan's attention. Is there a battle going on, or? Lu Pingon knew that although there were not many demon beasts in the Purple Shadow Secret Realm, wherever there were demon beasts, there were usually rare spiritual herbs. With this thought, Lu Pingon immediately headed towards the direction of the sound. Before long he saw a golden giant bear chasing an old man and a young boy. The two did not confront the giant bear directly but skillfully entangled it, wearing it down. The old man, seeing Lu Pingon, immediately appeared alert through his slightly cloudy eyes. But seeing Lu Pingan's 7th-level energy refinement strength, he shouted, "Daoist, there are several 7-star grasses in this Vajra bear's cave. If you help us deal with it, we will share the spiritual medicines equally." While trust was rare among cultivators in the secret realm, many still grouped together for mutual benefit. Besides, with the grandfather and grandson, one at the 9th level and one at the 8th level, and Lu Pingon merely at the 7th level, in such a situation, they naturally did not fear how Lu Pingon might act. If Lu Pingon turned out to be wealthy, they could even possibly seize all his possessions. 7-star grass. Sitage novel. Ire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Hearing this, Lu Pingan's eyes immediately lit up. The 7-star grass was a main ingredient for the lifespan extension pill, extremely valuable. He immediately responded loudly, "Agreed. Let's do it." With his words, he shot out like a cannonball towards the Vajra bear. Daoist. The old man and the boy were stunned by Lu Pingan's actions, utterly bewildered. What was happening? Facing a demon beast, he was charging right towards it? Could it be that he intended to fight the demon beast in close combat? However, before they could finish their sentence, they saw Lu Pingon reaching the Vajra bear. With fists clenched, he leapt up, his right arm shimmering with a golden glow like a divine drum, breaking through layers of air, and solidly smashing into the Vajra bear's head. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 951. Bang. Under Lu Pingan's punch, the Vidra bear's skull burst open and its sharp pointed teeth shattered and flew. The enormous body that was 5 meters tall spun like a top and flew backwards, crashing to the ground and creating a huge pit. What's wrong? Only then did Lu Pingan turn his head to look towards the befuddled grandfather and grandson whose gazes were dull. It's nothing. The elderly man, still confused, swallowed hard and said awkwardly. He had just thought that with Lu Pingan at the Qi Refinement 7th level he could easily handle him by himself. But that punch had completely dumbfounded everyone. Having traveled the north and south for decades, he had never seen such a vicious person. At Qi Refinement 7th level, to punch a demon beast into flight and apparently incapacitate it. Grandpa, isn't this Vidra bear known for its immense strength and indestructible body? The young man next to him swallowed his saliva, his face somewhat pale as he asked his grandfather. Typically, the combat power of demon beasts was stronger than that of cultivators at the same level. They had decided to confront this Vidra bear solely because it guarded the 7-star grass. But never did they expect that the Vidra bear that they could only slowly wear down and struggle against would be blasted away by someone else with a single punch, leaving its life hanging by a thread, making them question their existence. This must be the young master of some family here for training. Be polite later. The elderly man, watching the scene unfold before him, advised his grandson in a low voice. Bang bang bang. In front, Lu Pingan reached the pit, his fists raining down on the Vidra bear like meteor showers. His punches, like landslides and tsunamis, were so powerful that the ground could hardly bear it, continually trembling and forming a crater with dust swirling around. Shortly after, Lu Pingan lifted the now-dead Vidra bear out of the pit. How do you want to divide this Vidra bear? Lu Pingan looked towards the elderly man and the youth and asked. Although he had killed the beast himself since it was their prey and they had expended a lot of effort, he chose not to claim it all. We don't need it. The elderly man immediately shook his head. In this situation, how could they dare to split the spoils with him? If it angered him, just one punch could end both their journey in the secret realm. Fine. Upon hearing this, Lu Pingan nodded, not standing on ceremony, and took out his magical sword to dissect the Vidra bear. He collected the bear paws, bear gall and bear blood, the more valuable materials, into his storage bag. After all, he couldn't fit the bear's large body entirely into his storage bag. Moreover, if the corpse of a dead demon beast isn't handled promptly, it can't be used later. Daoist, where is the 7-star grass? After finishing, Lu Pingan looked at the two and asked. It's just ahead. The elderly man and the young man very courteously led Lu Pingan to a cave filled with a foul stench. Inside the cave, there were 5 spirit grasses shimmering with specks of starlight. Indeed, 7-star grass, and there are 5 of them. Lu Pingan's face showed joy. But looking at the 5-star grasses, he was somewhat unsure how to divide them. Just as he was about to speak, the elderly man proactively said, Daoist, since you defeated the Vidra bear, how about you take 3 of the 7-star grass and we take 2? Are you two only taking 2? Lu Pingan frowned slightly. After all, they had discovered the 7-star grass, and all he did was defeat the Vidra bear. Taking the larger share seemed a bit embarrassing. It's fine. If it weren't for you, we would not have been able to obtain the 7-star grass so easily. The elderly man, wearing a Daoist robe and showing a kindly face, said, I won't take advantage of you, I'll take 2. Lu Pingan wasn't naive, realizing that their fear was the reason for their offer. But in his view, he had already obtained part of the Vidra bear, so 2 7-star grasses were sufficient. Thank you, Daoist. You are alone. If convenient, we could accompany each other. Amazed inside, the elderly man thought that today he had met a good person. He immediately guessed that Lu Pingan must be a young master from a large family here for training. Only such family members could be so generous. Because ordinary loose cultivators, if characteristic of kindness and generosity, would have difficulty reaching the 9th level of Qi refinement. He continued, this old Daoist is not without skill. I know some techniques to inspect and find spiritual herbs and medicines. Lu Pingan glanced at the elder and the young man, pondered for a moment and nodded, okay. The elder is surnamed Kong, just call me old Daoist Kong, and this is my grandson little Kong. The elder's face showed delight as he immediately spoke out. Ping. Lu Pingan gave out his pseudonym. Old Daoist Kong thought for a moment and had not heard of any prominent families in Jiang country. However, he did not care, for who would use their real name within the secret realm? Besides, other than the children of major families, who knows? There might be a successor from a hidden lineage. Soon afterward, the three of them divided the seven-star grass and traveled together. Like old Daoist Kong and the young man who had no specific destination, their main goal was to find more spiritual herbs and medicines in the periphery. Thus they slowly moved in the direction pointed out by Lu Pingon. Beside a mountain cliff. Boom boom boom. 4 men and women were hunting a massive tiger, its body ablaze with black flames. Roar roar roar. At this moment, under the combined attack of the 4, the black tiger kept roaring with wounds all over. But the black flames enveloping its body rolled fiercely, presenting a terrifying power that kept the 4 from approaching. They could only suppress it with magic artifacts. Then at that moment, Poochie! A sword light slashed down from above, directly decapitating the black tiger, blood splattering everywhere. "I'll take this spirit fruit." Lu Qingshan, dressed in a platinum brocade robe and holding a magical sword, stood in the air and spoke to the 4, who were astonished and caught off guard. The 4 looked at Lu Qingshan, wanting to say something but afraid to speak. Outside the secret realm, Lu Qingshan and a nascent soul immortal had arrived. They had all seen Lu Qingshan and knew he was not simple. Moreover, the sheer power displayed by Lu Qingshan's sword had left them all fearful, knowing they were no match for him. After speaking, Lu Qingshan did not wait for their agreement and stepped forward to take something. On the mountain cliff, a fruit radiating spiritual essence suddenly fell into his hand. After placing the fruit into the spirit plant bag, Lu Qingshan didn't even glance at the 4 and rode his sword away. "Humph, that's just too domineering," a woman muttered under her breath with a dissatisfied face. However, she only dared to mumble quietly and not make a fuss. After all, the sharp and soaring sword momentum from him had made her involuntarily palpitate. Seeing Lu Qingshan completely disappear, a middle-aged man next to her said with a bitter smile, "The cultivation world is just like this, survival of the fittest. It's already good that he didn't attack us. Although we subdued this spectral flame tiger, its strength was comparable to a second rank, its body extraordinarily tough, yet it was pierced by his single sword. No wonder he was sent to the secret realm by a nascent soul immortal." The other 2 looked at the spectral flame tiger on the ground, their eyes filled with fear and trepidation. They then began discussing how to divide this spectral flame tiger. "This purple shadow secret realm is really boring. We should head to the central area sooner to find some gains." Lu Qingshan stood on his flying sword, glanced at the sky dome enveloped in purple shadow, and headed towards the core area of the secret realm. He knew the secret realm was divided into the periphery and the central area. The spiritual medicines and herbs in the periphery grew without any pattern and were limited in age. The center was different. The spiritual medicines and herbs there were precious and rare, and a few dangerous places almost always contained rare spiritual medicines and exotic fruits. And the heavenly spirit fruits that Purple Shadow Secret Realm was known for were mostly in the central area. Although Lu Qingshan's trip was said to be a visit home to see Purple Shadow Secret Realm and hone himself, he actually wanted to get a few heavenly spirit fruits to take back. After all, his sister Lu Qingzhu had only a 7th grade spiritual root, though he had prepared 2 foundation establishment elixirs. In his view, that was still too few. He thought she would need at least 7 or 8 so his sister could face the foundation establishment without any burden or psychological pressure. Moreover, there was also his younger brother Lu Qingsong at home. Though with their father's abilities, getting a few foundation establishment elixirs should not be difficult. But with so many siblings and stepmothers at home, he felt his father could hardly take care of everyone. So whatever he could take care of, he would handle himself. Sar the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. And this trip home, after seeing the situation at Qingzhou Mountain and his grandfather, he also thought of helping out as much as he could. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 952. Lu Chuanjin. My older brother seems pretty fierce. Purple Shadow Secret Realm. Ah, Daoist, spare my life. Daoist, where have we offended you? Please let us go, we'll give you everything we have. In a dense forest, piercing screams echoed. Several cultivators were seen frantically fleeing. Behind them rode a man on a giant wolf, leisurely pursuing them, occasionally releasing fireballs and wind blades. However, these fireballs and wind blades seemed to be toying with the few. The real killing intent came from above. Above the dense forest hovered a massive golden-crowned black feather eagle. On the eagle's back stood a man and a woman. The man was tall and sturdy with a fierce and resolute face, holding a dark gold-colored great bow, drawing the bowstring towards the fleeing loose cultivators below. With a tremble of the bowstring, a blood-red arrow shot out, killing a loose cultivator below. This blood arrow seemed to have a demon nature, as its blood-red glow became even more intense after killing a person, returning to the burly man's hand. Tuoba Lai's blood feather arrow has become increasingly sharp. Now in the Purple Shadow secret realm, I'm afraid no one can withstand the might of Brother Tuoba's single arrow, said the beautiful woman next to him with sultry eyes, as if water were about to drip from her eyes. Those maniacs from the Heavenly Sword sect and that Lu Qingshan who was sent here earlier by a nascent soul immortal, are not to be underestimated, he said. Otherwise, why would I waste time here making arrows? The tall man, with his fierce brows and eyes gleaming with a dark golden luster like those of a hawk, was incredibly sharp. Amid his speech he gently pulled the bowstring again, killing another person. "Toba Lai, you madman!" yelled one of the two remaining fleeing cultivators, clearly recognizing the archer. He never expected to encounter the madman of spirit-taming sect in the secret realm. Spirit-taming sect, Toba Lai. By a large tree, Lu Chuanzhen, who hid his body, watched this scene, looking up at the eagle and the man and woman. Even in his eyes, this disciple of spirit-taming sect named Tuoba Lai was far from ordinary. Completely incomparable to the sect disciple he had killed before from Wuxia sect. However, the other's behavior reminded him of some rumors about spirit-taming sect. Although the spirit-taming sect was a righteous sect, it bordered the Myriad Beasts mountain range, and disciples of the sect all formed contracts with demon beasts, hunting them, spending long periods mixed with the beasts, which often caused them to acquire beastly traits. Thus, many disciples of spirit-taming sect had a strong urge to kill, and they acted arrogantly on a normal day. Even more unscrupulous than the sword cultivators from Heavenly Sword sect. Now seeing the three from spirit-taming sect kill wantonly and take joy in slaughter, he truly understood. Even so, he had no inclination to get involved with the situation at hand. Clearly, the strength of these three were not ordinary. Unless he went all out using second-rank talismans or second-rank puppets, he would not be a match for them. But he had a contingency plan, and as disciples of spirit-taming sect, they definitely had their own trump cards. So naturally he wouldn't take the risk. However, after Tuoba Lai on the eagle's back killed the cultivator who had just cursed him, his eyes gleaming with dark golden light, he suddenly turned towards the location of Lu Chuanzhen. There's another one hiding here. After observing for a moment he sneered, drew the bowstring fully and fired at Lu Quanzhen's location. Whoosh! The blood arrow streaked like a rainbow, bursting towards Lu Quanzhen's spot. Seeking death. Lu Chuanzhen immediately felt locked in by a chi mechanism, his eyes suddenly cold. Xia the Novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. With a raise of his hand, a 5 elements colored little fish burst forth from the palm of his hand. Boom! The 5 elements colored little fish instantly collided with the blood-red arrow, triggering layers of explosive energy. Indeed not simple, remarked Lu Chuanzhen, his eyes focused as he formed a gesture incantation, causing the 5 elements light to surge around the small fish, swallowing the blood-red arrow with force. Seeing the wolf-riding man nearby looking towards him, Lu Chuanzhen chose not to entangle any further. He immediately executed the divine rock technique, soaring away like a sky ping, leaving a lingering image behind. Buzzing. The blood arrow continued to pulse with blood-red light, breaking through the 5 elements colored little fish and returning back to the hands of Tuoba Lai. Which sect's disciple is this man? Tuoba Lai on the eagle's back focused his eyes, feeling that his blood arrow was slightly diminished by the opponent just now. Judging by his clothing, he's not from our sects, said the beautiful woman by his side, her expression filled with surprise. She hadn't expected anyone besides the geniuses from the other 3 great immortal sects to be able to block her brother Tuoba's arrows. Interesting. Zhou Ba, don't let him escape, commanded Tuobalai, his eyes showing a trace of ferocity as he looked at Lu Chuanjin, who was getting away with a snarl. The blood-colored arrow continued to rest on the bowstring, his chi locked on Lu Chuanjin. The man below, who was collecting a storage bag while riding the giant wolf, upon hearing his brother's words, instantly looked towards Lu Chuanjin and patted his giant wolf. Roar! The giant wolf howled, a hurricane emerging around it as it streaked towards Lu Chuanjin. You won't let it go, will you? Lu Quanzhen's figure soared, his eyes ice-cold as he looked back at the golden-crowned black feather eagle in the sky. If it were one-on-one, he was confident he could slay the opponent. But with 3 against 1, it would be difficult for him to approach and cut down this man named Tuobalai. Besides using a second-rank puppet and second-rank talisman, he couldn't think of another way to slay the opponent immediately. But he had to ensure all 3 were slain with a second-rank talisman. Otherwise, if even one managed to escape and later joined with other spirit-taming sect disciples, he would have trouble on his hands. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 953. Lu Chuanjin. My older brother seems pretty fierce. Just as Lu Chuanjin was thinking about escaping using a talisman, he suddenly realized he was not far from Lu Pingon. He alone dared not ensure the annihilation of all 3 enemies. But Lu Pingon also had a second-rank talisman in his hand. As long as Lu Pingon and he acted simultaneously, he was confident they could eliminate all 3. Immediately, Lu Quanzhen's eyes narrowed slightly, filled with killing intent as he channeled his spiritual power into his identity token, calling for Lu Pingan's help. He then flew towards the direction where Lu Pingon was located. And he held 2 second-rank talismans in his hand, waiting for the right moment. Roar! The giant wolf was very fast, relentlessly pursuing Lu Chuanjin. The golden-crowned black feather eagle in the sky was doing the same, relentlessly targeting Lu Chuanjin. At this moment, Lu Pingon was gathering spirit grass with old Daoist Kong and his grandson. It must be said, old Daoist Kong certainly had some exceptional skills in prospecting, which had yielded quite a rich harvest for Lu Pingon along the way. Although they had encountered 2 demon beasts, both were easily dealt with by Lu Pingon. Just then an identity token appeared in Lu Pingan's hand. As he looked at the token trembling and emitting a red glow, his expression suddenly darkened and a harsh light shone in his eyes. I have something to attend to, I'll be right back, Lu Pingon said to the 2 Daoists. As his words fell, his figure burst forth, stirring up a long trail of forceful wind and waves that whipped their robes. Has Daoist encountered some trouble? Little Kong watched the rapidly disappearing Lu Pingon, looking somewhat shocked. Just now, a token appeared in his hand. It must be a token of summoning. Seems a friend is in trouble. Let's go take a look. This Daoist is no ordinary person. If you can befriend him, there will be many benefits in the future, Old Kong immediately said. Though he had partnered with Lu Pingon partially because he recognized Lu Pingan's fighting abilities, the main reason was he saw that Lu Pingon was generous and kind-hearted, hoping his grandson could befriend him. After all, as a loose cultivator, he knew well the hardships of being one. He hoped his grandson could join a faction through Lu Pingon and follow him. ZZZT. Lu Pingon was very worried about Lu Quanzhen's safety and even used a Godspeed talisman on himself, boosting his speed to the extreme, making it hard to capture his movement. Had he not cultivated the 100 refinements treasure body art to the 5th layer, an ordinary energy refining cultivator wouldn't have been able to withstand such speed. Before long, Lu Pingon sensed that the chi emitted by the token was just ahead. He saw a golden-crowned black eagle hovered in the sky with 2 figures on it. One of them held a bow and arrow and was shooting downwards hunter style, seeking death. Lu Pingon immediately understood the situation and roared furiously at the figures on the eagle, his voice booming like thunder exploding across the heavens. Lu Pingon was usually not inclined to fight or kill. But at that moment, seeing someone hunting his brother like prey, a surge of intense rage and killing intent filled his heart. Death. Lu Pingan's foot tapped and his whole body, like a ferocious dragon released from its cage, shot into the sky, his large and mighty body blasting through layers of air. Boom, boom, boom. His tall and majestic body now seemed like a rising dragon, his muscles swelling as if they were expanding, endless treasure light flowing through his body. Huh. Tuoba Lai, seeing Lu Pingon suddenly appear, was instantly on edge, sensing intense danger. But the next moment his lips curled into a cruel smile and he loudly said, very good, very good. It seems the Purple Shadow Secret Realm is truly interesting, adding much pleasure. In the same breath, a black gold sharp arrow appeared in his hand, aimed at Lu Pingon. The beautiful woman beside him was naturally not just for show. Seeing this and knowing Lu Pingon was a body cultivator wanting to get close, she immediately performed a gesture incantation, and a red luo umbrella appeared in the air, her hand supporting a law bead. SSH. The black gold sharp arrow burst forth with a dazzling radiance, the sound of wind and thunder, shooting towards Lu Pingan's brow, aiming to kill with a single strike. Who? Lu Pingon pulled back his right fist as if gathering all his force and the surrounding air into his fist. A mighty black great axe emerged behind him, spanning the heavens and the earth. Split the mountain. His fist thundered out, and the great axe slashed down, unleashing an unstoppable, ferocious and dominant force, annihilating everything in its path. Danger! 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 Tuoba Lai's mind sounded alarm bells of danger, feeling a cloud of lethal threat envelop him like never before. Not just him, the beautiful female cultivator beside him and the golden-crowned black feather eagle below them were enveloped by the death shadow, filled with fear. Sar the novel, Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. They couldn't understand what was happening. Wasn't the secret realm only supposed to allow energy refining cultivators? This kind of power, and you're telling me he's an energy refining cultivator? But they didn't have time to think further, as the divine fist had already obliterated the black gold sharp arrow and was now right in front of them. Boom, boom, boom. The red luo umbrella, the body protecting beads, the body protecting robe, the body protecting chi barrier, all shattered under the force of the punch. Perfectly demonstrating what it means to break all laws with sheer force. At that moment, both the people and the eagle exploded into a shower of blood. This, Lu Qianzhen, watching from above, was momentarily stunned and a bit confused. He hadn't even transmitted how to make their move, yet Lu Pingon had already made his. And his big brother seemed a bit fierce. Even he felt a chill in his heart facing that burst of ferocity. Lu Qianzhen didn't think much further, his expression ice-cold as he looked towards the wolf rider behind him, his eyes full of murderous intent. You've followed for so long, let's see what you've got. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 954. Lu Qianzhen, my older brother seems pretty fierce. How is this possible? The man pursuing Lu Qianzhen gazed at the scene above him, his complexion suddenly turning deathly pale. He had never expected that his brother Tuoba Lai would be killed by a single punch. It was known that brother Tuoba was a formidable figure within the spirit-taming sect, with an impressive combat power. But now he had been killed by a single punch. And there was also Sister Yang and the golden-crowned black feather eagle. His face was extremely pale and full of shock. Seeing Lu Qianzhen coming to kill him, he was overwhelmed with fear and wanted to run away. But his mount, the giant wolf, was startled by the recent show of force and hesitated. Go! He hurriedly took out a talisman from his storage bag, hoping to use it to escape. But Lu Quanzhen's attack was already on the way. The Kunping 5 elements technique surged like a massive wave, and the thunder fire talisman he had been holding was activated in an instant. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Rolling thunder and flames rushed towards Zhou Ba. In the blink of an eye, they devoured both him and the giant wolf. Qianzhen, are you okay? At that moment Lu Pingon arrived by Lu Quanzhen's side and asked. That punch he had thrown without holding back had cost him dearly, causing his blood and qi to surge within him, leaving his face somewhat pale. I'm fine. A warm feeling arose in Lu Quanzhen's heart. He indicated that he had just been chased by 3 people and couldn't resolve the situation alone, so he had signaled for help, but he was not seriously harmed. That's good to hear. Lu Pingon said with a smile upon hearing this. I didn't expect your strength to be so astonishing, brother. Lu Qianzhen exclaimed. He felt that Lu Pingan's combat power now might be enough to challenge Lu Qingshan. However, he could tell that the price Lu Pingon paid for that punch was not small. It's all right, I've always been unclear about my own strength as I've never used my full force before. Lu Pingon shook his head. After breaking through the 5th layer of the 100 Refinements treasure body art, he had slain a few parasitic cultivators. Then on the way to the Purple Shadow secret realm he killed a few energy refining robbery cultivators. So he wasn't quite sure about his own combat power. He only knew that his strength was not inferior to a 9th level energy refinement. These few seem quite wealthy. It's been a substantial haul. Lu Qianzhen picked up a pile of storage bags and magic artifacts from the shredded magical robe of the wolf-mounted man. The three had hunted down many cultivators, resulting in more than a dozen storage bags. Then he and Lu Pingon picked up all the magic artifacts and storage bags from Tuobalai and the female cultivator. Among these magic artifacts, the red Luo umbrella was severely damaged under Lu Pingan's punch. The other artifacts were relatively undamaged. Lu Qianzhen handed these storage bags to Lu Pingon and then picked up Tuobalai's black gold great bow to examine. He could tell that it was a top-tier top-grade magic artifact. Brother, this bow is pretty good. I think it suits you. Lu Qianzhen handed the black gold great bow to Lu Pingon, saying so. Bow and arrow artifacts like this require not only mana but also physical strength. Indeed, it's pretty nice, but my archery skills are just average and I haven't practiced in a long time. Lu Pingon took the bow, attempting to draw it into a full moon. Brother, let's find a place to rest first. Once we're ready, we'll head straight to the central area. Lu Qianzhen suggested. He had originally planned to train around the periphery. But through several bouts he had gained a rough understanding of his own capabilities. Knowing that staying on the fringes was pointless, he prepared to head straight for the center. Okay. Lu Pingon nodded in agreement. At that moment, a chill crossed Lu Quanzhen's eyes as he looked to the side. He saw an old Daoist and a young man cautiously approaching. His palm rose lightly, ready to strike. Qianzhen, these are friends I met on the way. Lu Pingon quickly called out upon seeing this. Brethren, I saw you were in a hurried state earlier, so I followed you here, wondering if I could be of any help. Old Daoist Kong immediately spoke up. He had sensed the astonishing commotion here earlier. Seeing the ashes and artifacts on the ground, he could roughly guess what had happened, fearing that the two might kill to silence witnesses. After all, the Lu Pingon before him seemed like a kind and generous man. But the Lu Qianzhen before him was different. Just now he distinctly felt a murderous intent from Lu Qianzhen. Daoist Kong, young Daoist Kong, I am preparing to head to the central area of the secret realm, so I won't be able to journey with you both. I'm truly sorry, Lu Pingon said with an apologetic expression. It's fine. We've already benefited from Brother An's company along the way. If that is the case, brethren, take care on your journey. Old Daoist Kong made a bowing gesture with his hands. Brethren, take care. Young Kong next to him said, also feeling somewhat regretful. After all, traveling with Lu Pingon provided not only safety but also potential for considerable gains. Brother, let's go. Without further words, Lu Qianzhen packed up their findings and left with Lu Pingon. They found a secluded spot, set up a formation, and allowed Lu Pingon to recuperate before heading to the central area. Alas, such flood dragons are beyond us loose cultivators to befriend. Simply having acquainted with them is already great luck. Old Daoist Kong watched the two leave and sighed with a bit of regret to his grandson. He had thought of befriending them to help his grandson. But now he knew that they were completely unmatched. Sia the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Unless he and his grandson were strong enough and daring enough to go with them to the center and then come out alive. Grandfather, rest assured, I will surely break through to the Foundation establishment in the future. I won't disappoint you. Young Kong took a deep breath, speaking earnestly. He knew his grandfather was striving so hard at his age entirely for him. Otherwise, he could comfortably serve as a visiting noble servant in a small family based on his skills, enjoying his later years. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 955. Purple Shadow Mountain, Golden Bodhi Date. Outside the Purple Shadow secret realm. The expression of a nascent soul immortal from the spirit-taming sect suddenly turned grim. Whenever they sent disciples to the Purple Shadow secret realm for training, They would bring along their soul plates to confirm any deaths within the realm. After all, these disciples were not all unparalleled geniuses, but each could be considered outstanding. If there was a widespread occurrence of death, it would suggest a special situation had arisen, and they would have to take measures to terminate the venture into the secret realm. Right now, although there hadn't been a mass fatality just now, 3 soul plates in his storage bag had shattered at around the same time. Such an incident was extremely rare. The deaths of 3 disciples at almost the same time suggested a high probability they encountered danger together. Now should not yet be the time to reach the central area. How could? And among these 3 soul plates, this Tuoba Lai I remember has divine power, strength out of the ordinary. The face of the nascent soul immortal from the spirit-taming sect was grave. What is it, Black Wind Immortal? Could it be that a disciple of your sect encountered some accidents in the secret realm? The nearby Qingyun sect immortal, stroking his beard, said with a smile. This immortal merely thought of some matters. The spirit-taming sect immortal stood with his hands behind his back, speaking without any niceties. Though the Purple Shadow secret realm was merely a training ground, it still held some competitive significance for the 4 great immortal sects. Therefore, even if his own disciples had just died, he wouldn't admit it for fear of losing face. After all, it was just 3 disciples. The final outcome depended on who would have the last laugh. Oh, since we're idly waiting, Black Wind Immortal, would you be interested in making a bet? The Qingyun sect immortal said with an unchanged smile. At their level, heavenly and earthly treasures of use were very rare and difficult to purchase with spirit stones, so they often bartered or traded for them. Seeing an opportunity now, he naturally thought of securing some benefit through this method. Since Immortal Li is interested, this immortal will naturally oblige. The spirit-taming sect immortal said. There's a saying, one may lose but should never lose face. If he were to refuse, it would appear as though he were afraid of the opponent. Moreover, he had some confidence in his own disciples. After all, the disciples of the spirit-taming sect were battle-hardened, incomparable to those from Qingyun and Wuxia sects. The recent 3 likely encountered some unforeseen circumstances. I wonder how Pingon, Chuanzhen and Xianxia are doing right now. Sir the Nell Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Chongqing sat cross-legged at a distance, his expression very calm. With the Lu family genealogy, he was clearly aware of his children's life and death status. He couldn't help but feel a bit worried seeing the occasional Foundation establishment cultivator's expression suddenly change drastically. However, seeing the calm and composed expression of the Foundation establishment cultivators from Golden Dragon Ridge, he guessed that Lu Chuanzhen hadn't run into a disciple of the Jin family. This made Lu Chongqing think that he could judge his son's situation through the expressions of those from the Jin family. In the Purple Shadow secret realm within a dense forest. This person really had a backup plan. Lu Chuanzhen was sorting through the storage bags he had obtained and couldn't help but click his tongue in wonder upon seeing a talisman treasure inside Tuoba Lai's storage bag. However, this was also because the person was too arrogant and Lu Pinggan's combat power was surprisingly formidable. Under normal circumstances, who would have thought that an energy-refining cultivator could be so fierce in battle? Lu Chuanzhen had once participated in the battle at White Tiger Mountain and was aware of the strength of Foundation establishment. Lu Pinggan's punch was not inferior to that of his Uncle Li's offensive moves, even possibly surpassing them. In such a fleeting moment, the opponent had no chance to respond at all. Unless the person alongside the woman had defended with full power from the start or deployed the talisman treasure, it would have been a dead end all the same. But how could someone as unbending and unruly as Tuoba Lai confront someone with full force right from the beginning? This served as a reminder to Lu Chuanzhen not to underestimate anyone in the world. With the outcome of life and death undecided, one can never truly know the strength of an opponent. Just like his sister Lu Wangshu, who had just come of age. A 5th-level energy refining cultivator, yet she was able to produce dozens of talismans, including 2nd-rank talismans, and set up a talisman formation. Had one underestimated and belittled her, even a peak energy refining cultivator might have died at her hands. Hiss, my family's situation seems a bit too astonishing, doesn't it? At that moment, Lu Chuanzhen suddenly realized that his family's situation seemed a bit exaggerated. Whether it was the brother beside him, his brother Lu Qingshan who had recently returned home, or his sister Lu Wangshu who had just reached adulthood, Any one of them could be called a genius. Placed in any other foundation establishment family, each would be considered a top-tier seed that could lead the family to greater heights. Yet his own family had 3 such individuals in just a few years. If it weren't for his encounter with his uncle, he wouldn't be able to hold a candle to the 3 of them. Plus, he remembered there were a few siblings at home with quite rapid cultivation speeds who hadn't participated in the family's spirit testing ceremony at the age of 6. Hiss. Lu Quanzhen's eyes showed a thoughtful expression. He shook his head, not thinking further, and finished sorting through the 13 storage bags he had collected. There weren't many spirit stones inside, totaling less than 1,000 in all. But there were 33 magic artifacts. 6 middle grade, 19 high quality, and 8 top-grade magic artifacts. It just goes to show that everyone entering the Purple Shadow secret realm would use their spirit stones to purchase magic artifacts, elixir medicines, talismans, and so on. Besides the magic artifacts, other gains were mainly spiritual herbs and medicines. Lu Qianzhen made a rough estimate. The gains from slaying these 3 individuals amounted to roughly 20 to 30,000 spirit stones. Phew. At that moment, Lu Pingon opened his eyes and exhaled a breath of turbid energy. He was only grappling with the shock to his vitality, and with the use of elixir medicines, it wouldn't take long for him to recover. Big brother, I just sorted through these storage bags. You can make use of these magic artifacts. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 956. Purple Shadow Mountain, Golden Bodhi Date. Lu Qianzhen spoke out. Okay Qianzhen, you've worked hard. Lu Pingon glanced at him and said with a smile. When he took over the magic artifact, he asked, "Are these few magic artifacts just taken from the disciples of the spirit-taming sect?" Hee, don't worry brother, they are not from the 3 spirit-taming sect cultivators just now. Lu Qianzhen laughed lightly, knowing that Lu Pingon was concerned that the magic artifacts might bring trouble. He had naturally considered this aspect a long time ago. Hearing this, Lu Pingon then put on a pair of silver-lined black boots, wore a magic bracelet on his hand and hung a jade pendant on his waist. Immediately, the 2 brothers rose into the air with their artifacts and observed their rough location. Seeing a purple ring-shaped mountain peak in the distance, shrouded in mist and reaching straight into the clouds, they knew that this direction led to the central area of the Purple Shadow secret realm, the Purple Shadow Mountain. The 2 brothers immediately headed in that direction. Meanwhile, in the secret realm, many family disciples had gathered together or formed alliances with others, baring their fangs and engaging in a massive cleanse against solitary loose cultivators. This situation grew more severe the closer one got to the central region, with killings becoming increasingly frequent. Occasionally, when cultivators from the Immortal sects, family disciples, or powerful loose cultivators encountered one another, they would tacitly pass by without conflict, or keep it limited to minor skirmishes. After all, it wasn't time for them to engage in deadly struggles over treasures yet. Lu Pingon and Lu Qianzhen, the 2 brothers, were also among the solitary loose cultivators. But they were different from other opportunistic cultivators who came to try their luck in the chaos in hopes of striking it big. The 2 belonged to the top of the food chain among cultivators in this secret realm. As they traveled, whenever they encountered a cultivator with malicious intentions, Lu Qianzhen would show no mercy and strike to kill without hesitation. Although Lu Pingon was reluctant to kill indiscriminately, he knew that this was the norm upon entering a secret realm. If there were few enemies, he would support his brother from the rear. But if there were many, the brothers would join forces, aiming for quick and decisive battles. Along the way, the strength of the 2 brothers was formidable, yielding plentiful rewards, so that Lu Pingon even had an extra bundle on his shoulder. This bundle was full of storage bags. After all, storage bags couldn't be put into other storage bags. Discarding so many storage bags would be too wasteful. Thus, Lu Pingon wrapped them up with a magical robe and carried them on his shoulder. In this manner, after several days of travel, the 2 were finally able to clearly see the ring-shaped mountain peak ahead. The mountain soared into the clouds, thousands of feet high, with steep terrain, sheer cliffs and precipices, covered with bizarre rocks and ancient trees towering into the sky, all shrouded in rolling purple mist, hazy and obscure. Heavenly spirit fruits and other rare and exotic herbs, heavenly and earthly treasures, We're all within this purple shadow mountain. Big brother, this purple shadow mountain is blocked by mist that affects the mental spirit and consciousness. You should wear the spiritual armor to prevent accidents, said Lu Qianzhen to Lu Pingon. The mist of purple shadow mountain was very thick. Once inside, even cultivators could easily become lost and needed to explore step by step carefully. Moreover, the demon beasts of the Purple Shadow secret realm were mainly concentrated in this Purple Shadow mountain. A moment of carelessness could result in a sudden attack, catching one completely off guard. Lu Pingon had previously thought the spiritual armor was too ostentatious, so he only wore a simple green vestment robe. Hearing Lu Quanzhen's words now, he nodded and replied, "Okay." This suit of spiritual armor was obtained from White Tiger Mountain and was given to Lu Qianzhen by Lu Chongxing. It was dark gold all over with elegant lines, a cold metallic luster and a pair of dark gold battle boots. With his tall and imposing stature, Lu Pingon, now clad in dark gold armor, looked like a mighty general, possessing an air of dominance. "This suit of spiritual armor does indeed suit you very well, big brother," said Lu Qianzhen. He. Lu Pingon simply grinned and touched the spiritual armor, feeling quite fond of it. Indeed, it was an excellent piece of armor, but its appearance was too conspicuous, making it easy to attract attention wherever one went. The two arrived at the foot of Purple Shadow Mountain, and not far away a team of 5 people also approached. But both parties merely glanced at each other before climbing the mountain from different directions. After all, it was quite an achievement to have reached the foot of the mountain at this time. Without conflicting interests, there was no need to waste mana fighting a life-and-death battle. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Just as they began ascending the mountain, suddenly, a number of inch-long shadows streaked through the lush jungle, coming at them with extreme speed. "Be careful." Lu Pingon's expression darkened, his blood and energy roared within as his hands clenched into fists and he struck out fiercely, causing the dark gold armor to shine with dazzling brilliance. Bang bang bang. The shadows burst open one after another, scattering black blood that caused the vegetation on the ground to corrode and wither. "Big brother, are you okay?" Lu Qianzhen recognized them as black blood snakes, which were not very powerful, but their blood contained lethal poison. "I'm fine," Lu Pingon said with a laugh, his fists radiating treasure light and unaffected by the corrosive blood of the black blood snakes. His 100 refinements treasure body art had rendered his body akin to a spiritual artifact. Siege Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Moreover, ever since the entry of 2 poisonous creatures into his body, increasing his poison resistance significantly after his treasure body technique broke through to the 5th layer. Saying that he was impervious to all poisons was no exaggeration. Tisk. Lu Qianzhen clicked his tongue with a hint of admiration, finding the body refinement technique to be incredibly domineering and well-suited for exploring secret realms. Had it been an ordinary energy refining cultivator or himself, who had come into contact with the black blood snake's blood, they would likely have needed to deal with the wound immediately, then take a detoxification pill to expel the poison and heal. The two did not linger and quickly left the site. There were many demon beasts in Purple Shadow Mountain, and once the smell of blood spread, it could easily attract beasts with a keen sense of smell. If they fought with demon beasts, they might attract the attention of other cultivators with harmful intentions. It must be said that there were indeed many demon beasts in Purple Shadow Mountain. After traveling for several hours, the two hadn't gathered much precious spiritual medicine, but they had already encountered 5 or 6 waves of demon beasts. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 957. Purple Shadow Mountain, Golden Bodhi Date. Throughout they also heard many sounds of demon beasts fighting. Roar. Suddenly, a tremendous roar came from the side, and they saw a grey giant ape charging towards Lu Pingon and Lu Qianzhen. It moved quickly with long arms, pouncing directly with its fingers like sharp iron hooks. Lu Pingon's fist shone with a faint golden luster as he struck forward. Boom! Fist and claw collided, sounding like metal striking metal, extremely harsh to the ears. The grey giant ape instantly let out a pained wail, flew backward, its nails broken, its arms spasming. What kind of demon beast is this with such an extraordinary physical body? Lu Qianzhen looked somewhat astonished. Through their time together, he had come to deeply understand the strength of his elder brother's physical body. Literally a humanoid demon beast. No, more like a fierce beast among demon beasts. Even cultivators knew not to let Lu Pingon get close. But demon beasts were always eager to charge head-on. So facing this kind, Lu Pingon usually ended the fight with just 1 or 2 punches. Like this giant ape, to suffer only arm spasms from one of Lu Pingon's punches, without even fracturing bones, was quite impressive. Roar. The gray giant ape let out a roar of agony, clenching its fist and charging at Lu Pingon again, its fist gleaming with a black-gold sheen. Bang! Lu Pingon met it with a massively powerful counterstrike. On this punch, the giant ape screamed in pain, its fist torn apart, its arms' bones shattered, oozing black blood. It now looked terrified and afraid in its eyes, and immediately began to flee in a frenzy. Elder brother, chase. Lu Xianxia immediately said. Powerful demon beasts like this often possessed fortunes. After all, not only cultivators consume spiritual medicines and herbs, but demon beasts do the same. This giant ape was clearly extraordinary, obviously having some fortune on its side. If they could find its lair, there must be certain rewards. In an instant, both men chased after the giant ape. The giant ape was extremely fast, leaping 100 steps through the air in one bound. If not for Lu Pingon and Lu Xianxia being extraordinary themselves, they might not have been able to catch up at all. Although Lu Pingon was capable of overtaking and killing it, upon hearing Lu Quanzhen's words, he held back and pursued doggedly. Moments later, they arrived at a cliff steep. They saw the agile silhouette of the giant ape leap, jumping directly off the cliff, disappearing without a trace. Lu Pingon and Lu Xianxia noticed a stone cave at the bottom of the cliff, which likely was the giant ape's nest. After exchanging a glance, they immediately activated their cultivation techniques, creating a protective aura around them, and entered the stone cave. Illusion heart grass. Just at the entrance of the cave, Lu Xianxia spotted some dimly misty herbs, crystal clear and emitting a strong fragrance. This was one of the main auxiliary ingredients for the Foundation Establishment elixir, very valuable. And here they discovered more than 10 of them. Seeing this, Lu Pingon also couldn't help but lick his lips, his face showing delight. So much spirit grass could easily be worth tens of thousands of spirit stones. However, the two didn't immediately pick the illusion heart grass but instead rushed deeper into the cave. This is the golden Bodhi date. The two reached the depths of the cave and immediately saw the gray giant ape approach a gold-colored tree, half a meter tall, about to pick and eat the dates from it. Seeing the two pursuing it, the gray giant ape, after swallowing a fruit, glared fiercely and charged towards Lu Quan. It was because it had always been hit by Lu Pingon and was somewhat afraid. Facing this situation, Lu Pingon took a step forward. His chest braced against 2 punches from the giant ape, causing sparks to fly from the spiritual armor, clanging with each impact, and then his fist, shining with a golden light, gathered strength and erupted. Bang! That punch directly blasted into the giant ape's skull, exploding its head like a watermelon, splattering brains and blood. After a cleansing technique cleared away the gore, Lu Pingon, his face full of joy, turned to the small tree beside the ape's corpse, golden Bodhi date. The small tree had several branches and was full of golden leaves, each bearing yellow dates the size of thumbs. These golden Bodhi dates were one of the spiritual medicines that must be traded with the 4 great immortal sects. The specific uses Lu Pingon did not know. He had only seen this golden date on the list, very precious. Quan, what are these golden Bodhi dates used for? He asked his brother. I'm not too sure, I only know that if you have injuries, the golden Bodhi date can heal them. If not, it can purify the physical body and improve one's cultivation level. This gray giant ape has such strength. It must have consumed these golden Bodhi dates. Lu Quan shook his head, not knowing the uses of the golden Bodhi dates. After all, the uses of most spiritual medicines and elixir recipes are forbidden secrets, seldom revealed. With a somewhat regretful look, he said, but these golden Bodhi dates don't seem to be mature yet. Indeed, it's a pity. Lu Pingon nodded in disappointment, then grinned. However, Dad said that for such rare spiritual plants, one can uproot them and bring them home. It'll be hard to cultivate and keep this golden Bodhi date tree alive at home. Lu Quan shook his head. As they spoke, he picked a golden Bodhi date, carefully examined it in his hand for a moment, and then tentatively bit a piece of the fruit to taste. Although such rare spiritual medicines must be traded with the great immortal sects, Sarch * the Nell Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It wasn't stipulated that they couldn't consume the spiritual medicine themselves within the secret realm. Given the golden Bodhi date's effect on improving cultivation, he naturally wanted to see how effective it was. After all, while submitting spiritual medicines yielded many spirit stones, there was nothing like improving oneself. Hiss. Lu Quan had just eaten a bit of the fruit when his body suddenly trembled violently, a powerful and overwhelming energy surging through his limbs and body. Quan. Lu Pingon immediately expressed his concern. 5 elements Kunping technique. Lu Quan promptly sat down, channeling his cultivation technique to refine this energy, feeling it continuously flow within his body, slowly refining his muscles and increasing his cultivation and magical power. This golden Bodhi date's effect is so domineering. If I hadn't consumed the dragon scale fruit and practiced the 5 elements Kunping technique, it would be difficult to refine this for an ordinary energy refining cultivator, Lu Quan muttered in his heart. He could feel that not only had his cultivation level slightly increased, but his physical body had also undergone a wondrous purification. Indeed, the golden Bodhi date, being one of the spiritual medicines that must be submitted, truly was extraordinary. He immediately said to Lu Pingon, "Big brother, the golden Bodhi date can purify the physical body. You should try consuming more, it will be beneficial for you." Aren't we supposed to submit these? Lu Pingon paused, feeling it would be a waste to eat it himself. One reason was that submitting the golden Bodhi dates would yield a good amount of spirit stones. Another was that the books mentioned that consuming heavenly spirit medicine directly is a waste, less than 1/3 as effective as formulated elixir medicines. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 958, Heavenly Spirit Fruit, Go All Out. These golden Bodhi dates are not yet ripe, and there's not much profit in turning them over to the sect. We've already gained a lot this trip, around 40 to 50,000 spirit stones. We're not short on such items. It's better to improve ourselves. Lu Chuanzhen knew his elder brother was of a thrifty nature and said with a smile. "Ah, we gained that many spirit stones?" Lu Pingon expressed his amazement. Although he knew that they had reaped quite a bounty, he had not yet accounted for it specifically. The figure took him by surprise. After all, before coming to the Purple Shadow secret realm, his entire fortune was just over 100 spirit stones. In order to expedite his journey, he had spent 38 spirit stones to purchase a spirit steed, which had died en route, causing him grief for quite some time. That's right, so Big Brother need not worry about waste. Moreover, there's still much to explore in the secret realm. If you improve your strength now, you can harvest even more later. Lu Chuanzhen advised, handing over 2 golden Bodhi dates to Lu Pingon. This golden Bodhi date has a very domineering medicinal effect. Big brother, just be a little careful. Although the other's physical body was extraordinary, he still cared to give a reminder. Afterward, he bit off a piece of the golden Bodhi date in his hand and slowly refined it. All right. Upon hearing this, Lu Pingon didn't fuss and bit off half a golden Bodhi date. The fruit flesh melted upon entering his mouth. It was likely not fully ripe yet, so there was a strong bitter taste. However, this mixture of sour and bitter sweetness immediately transformed into an overwhelming and domineering power surging towards his limbs and bones. Although the force was domineering, Lu Pingan's body had indeed undergone 100 refinements. He quickly cycled through the 100 refinements treasure body art to refine this medicinal power. After a long time, Lu Pingon managed to refine the medicinal power of half a golden Bodhi date, slightly furrowed his brow, and felt the condition of his physical body. During the baptism process just now, he faintly sensed that the medicinal power seemed to penetrate into the flesh and marrow of the bones. After pondering for a moment, looking at the 1.5 golden Bodhi dates in his hand, he directly swallowed them. Boom! Instantaneously, Lu Pingon felt as if struck by lightning. The golden Bodhi date transformed into an overwhelming, domineering force raging through his flesh, meridians, limbs, and bones. His heart thumped vigorously, his blood roared like a river, and his internal organs resounded like a gong. Lu Chuanzhen opened his eyes immediately upon hearing this commotion. Seeing his big brother's face contorted with pain and his body like a blazing furnace, robust vitality and might burst forth from within, ferocious and pressing. What's happening? Lu Chuanzhen was astonished. How had his brother become like this in the blink of an eye? He immediately noticed that the golden Bodhi date in Lu Pingan's hand had been eaten, and his expression changed slightly as he guessed what happened. The medicinal power of the golden Bodhi date was extremely domineering. He had only consumed a third of one. Eating too much could lead to an overbearing effect, making it hard to refine and possibly damaging oneself. Now Lu Pingan had eaten 2 golden Bodhi dates right away. However, Lu Chuanzhen knew his big brother's character was steady and wouldn't act rashly. He immediately acted as a protector and quietly observed Lu Pingan's condition. After a long while, Lu Pingan's surging vitality gradually retracted. He opened his eyes, exhaled a breath of turbid energy, and wiped the sweat from his forehead. Big brother, what was that? Lu Chuanzhen asked with concern. Chuanzhen, during the baptism of the physical body just now, I felt that the golden Bodhi date could penetrate the bones and marrow, eliminating impurities from the flesh and bones, achieving a true marrow cleansing transformation. But the medicinal effect of half a golden Bodhi date wasn't enough, so I just tried it out. If one consumes multiple dates at once and the medicinal power is sufficient, then it can penetrate into the flesh and marrow. Lu Pingan said with a smile on his face. Because he practiced martial arts and body refinement constantly, he had a nuanced control over his physical body. After consuming half a golden Bodhi date, he had keenly sensed part of its effects, so he attempted to swallow a date and a half. See Teach Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Following the baptism, the effect was indeed as he had surmised, with advances in both meridians and bones as well as internal organs. Moreover, it also stimulated the condensing of magical treasures, which were used to enhance the 100 Refinements treasure body art. Of course, he dared to do this because he was confident. By using the domineering medicinal power to enter the flesh and marrow, thus achieving a true marrow cleansing transformation. Lu Chuanzhen suddenly understood the principle. But he knew that this process was very painful and dangerous. If one wasn't careful enough to withstand the refining of such formidable medicinal power, their meridians and bones might shatter due to the violent medicinal force. I'll try it. Lu Chuanzhen, looking at the remaining more than half of the golden Bodhi date in his hand, swallowed it. In an instant, the violent medicinal power forced him to groan in pain, his facial features twisted. Pain, pain, pain. As Lu Pingan had said, the domineering medicinal power would penetrate deep into the flesh and bones. But similarly, it was excruciating. He swiftly endured the pain and circulated the 5 elements Kunping technique to refine the medicinal power. Yet the surging and violent medicinal power still made his body tremble as if undergoing spasms. After a moment, the medicinal power gradually subsided. After a long time, Lu Chuanzhen opened his eyes to assess his condition. The primary effect seemed to be the advancement of his cultivation level, and there was some effect on the refinement of the physical body, but it wasn't significant. Is it that the medicinal power is insufficient, or because I had previously consumed the dragon scale fruit? Lu Chuanzhen frowned slightly and pondered. Years ago, his uncle Chu Chang'e returned and had given him 2 dragon scale fruits. Those 2 dragon scale fruits had caused his entire being inside and out to undergo 2 transformative baptisms like rebirths, establishing a robust foundation. He looked towards Lu Pingan and said, Big brother, I had a chance earlier and this golden Bodhi date doesn't have much effect on me. You should consume them all. Continuing to consume golden Bodhi dates might be effective, but the results would be mediocre. Besides, if he consumed an entire golden Bodhi date outright, he might need a long time to recuperate before he could consume a second one. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 959. Heavenly Spirit Fruit, Go All Out. The situation was clearly not suitable now. It's okay, I don't need so much. Lu Pingan thought the other was offering it to him, so he quickly waved his hands. Lu Chuanzhen naturally saw the implication and affirmed that he really did not need them, as he had consumed such heavenly and earthly treasures in earlier years. Moreover, his physical body was only average and consuming too much medicine might be too fierce, possibly requiring healing. Hearing this, Lu Pingon finally nodded, plucked 3 golden Bodhi dates from the nearby tree and swallowed them whole. Lu Chuanzhen saw Lu Pingan's muscles swell and his bones clank, but he only grunted in pain. He couldn't help but feel impressed by his brother's tough character. He went to a cave nearby, carefully picked 13 illusion heart grasses, and put them into the spirit plant bag. This spirit plant bag was an exquisite one prepared in advance by Lu Chongqing. It could maintain the spirit and activity of spiritual herbs and medicines. Otherwise, such spirit grass would need to be stored in a special jade box. Otherwise, their spirit would gradually deteriorate. Lu Chuanzhen then took an array device from his storage bag and set it up at the entrance of the cave. Although the cave was hard to find, one could never be too careful. After completing this, he calmly waited for Lu Pingon to refine all the golden Bodhi dates. At this moment, in a valley to the southeast of Purple Shadow Mountain, 2 factions were in a deadlock over 3 spirit flowers about half a meter tall, with glowing green bodies and thick stems, exuding a rich scent of life. The flowers proudly stood alone with fist-sized jade-green fruits inside them, shimmering with a purple luster and releasing a refreshing fragrance. This flower is called the Heavenly Spirit Flower, and the fruit it bore was the main ingredient for the Foundation Establishment Elixir, known as the Heavenly Spirit Fruit. The Thunderhorn Lion was slain by the 4 of us. The Heavenly Spirit Fruit should rightfully belong to us. For the sake of Luoxia Sect's face, we are willing to concede 1 fruit, which is already a step back. Don't be too greedy. A 40-something blue-robed man wielding a knife and holding a magic pearl spoke. He and 4 others, armed with magic artifacts, formed a formation and faced 3 Luoxia Sect disciples ahead. Humph, seeing that the Thunderhorn Lion was killed by you, giving you 1 fruit is already generous of us. Don't reject the wine only to be forced to drink the penalties. Luoxia Sect coldly replied. While they only had 3 people, the trio faced down 5, their aura even overpowering the opposition. Heavenly Spirit Fruit? Just then a voice came from not far. Moments later, a youth in a white golden robe with sword-like eyebrows, handsome features and an upright posture approached. He looked ahead at the standoff. Not far from the 2 parties, a purple lion lay in pieces, its blood mingling to form pools. Near the pool of blood, there were 3 glowing green spirit flowers about half a meter tall, bearing fruits. Indeed, they are heavenly spirit fruits. Since there are 3 and you can't divide them equally, me taking 1 would be just right. This youth was none other than Lu Qingshan. He looked at the standoff between the 2 parties, his expression indifferent, and spoke lightly. These calm words, plain to the ears of the 7 individuals present, seemed domineering and unquestionable. Lu Qingshan. 3 from Luoxia Sect immediately recognized Lu Qingshan, remembering when he introduced himself while Tianyuan True Immortal visited with disciples from the 4 great immortal sects. Lu Qingshan, you are being too overbearing, wanting to take 1 heavenly spirit fruit for yourself. Sar the Null Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. A Luoxia Sect disciple spoke out. As Lu Qingshan was a disciple of a nascent soul immortal, they naturally didn't dare underestimate him. But to lightly declare taking a heavenly spirit fruit, they felt utterly disregarded. Moreover, their elders had instructed them to not lose face against this Lu Qingshan. Swoosh. The response was a dazzling sword light. Boom. This Luoxia Sect disciple immediately unleashed a magical shield to block the sword light. Under the assault of the sword light, the shield's spiritual light dimmed, causing him to stagger back several steps. Do you have an objection? Lu Qingshan's expression turned frosty, revealing a sharp edge as his magical sword hummed threateningly in his hand, as if brewing some terrifying sword intent. Seeing this, the 5 clan cultivators nearby were taken aback. They hadn't expected Lu Qingshan to be so overbearing, attacking the 3 from Luoxia Sect by himself. Moreover, with just a casual sword he forced 1 person back, showing terrifying strength that was not at their level at all. Such an individual must be a true genius of the immortal sects, a nascent soul seed. They exchanged glances and immediately said, if this Daoist wants 1 heavenly spirit fruit, the 5 of us have no objections. Given the situation, if the standoff continued and attracted others, it wouldn't end well for any of them. It was better to show goodwill and voluntarily give up a fruit. Upon hearing this, the three from Wuxia sect remained silent. From just that simple sword strike they recognized Lu Qingshan's astonishing strength. If a real fight ensued, neither side would benefit. Thus, the five closest to the heavenly spirit flower picked one fruit, then slowly retreated and left. Seeing this, the Wuxia sect disciples also snorted coldly, grabbed a spirit fruit and left. Not even taking the flowers makes it easier for me. Lu Qingshan saw both parties take the fruits but leave the flowers. He chuckled. He immediately uprooted the 3 heavenly spirit flowers and placed them in a spirit plant bag. After all, his father had told him that when encountering rare spiritual medicines, one should take them roots and all, especially the heavenly spirit flowers. Although heavenly spirit flowers are hard to grow and fruit in the outside world, since his father had said so, he naturally took it along without hesitation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 960, Heavenly Spirit Fruit, Go All Out. Perhaps his own father really had the ability to cultivate the heavenly spirit fruit. After finishing his task, Lu Qingshan took out a palm-sized, endearing golden hamster from his sleeve, gently massaged it and signaled it to continue. This golden hamster was none other than the earth spirit mouse that Lu Chongxing had given to his daughter, Lu Qingzhu, in his early years. Now coming to the Purple Shadow secret realm, Lu Qingshan naturally brought this earth spirit mouse with him. After all, second-order spiritual beasts couldn't enter the secret realm, but there was no problem with first-order ones. And his journey so far had been exceedingly fruitful, in part because he simply went wherever there was a disturbance. On the other hand, it was due to this earth spirit mouse's sensitivity to heavenly and earthly treasures. Indeed, treasure-seeking mice like the earth spirit mouse were like a fish in water within the secret realm. Search * the novel, Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. According to records, there is a hidden cave here with a golden Bodhi date tree. At this moment, 4 individuals clad in beast-taming Sioux family garments arrived near a cliff face. The 4 great immortal sects and several nascent soul family forces would usually enter the Purple Shadow secret realm every time it opened and always came away with gains. Hence, for the common loose cultivators and clan cultivators, the mysterious and dangerous Purple Shadow secret realm was quite familiar. They not only had rough maps but also knew about the locations that produce spiritual medicine. Every disciple from the immortal sects and clan cultivators who entered the secret realm would try to visit these places in hopes of finding something valuable. The 4 people searched around the cliff. However, after searching for a long time, they didn't find the hidden cave mentioned in the records. Then one of the female cultivators patted her spiritual pet bag and released a silver ferret. Families like the beast-taming Sioux family, which specialized in beast taming, would naturally breed a number of demon beasts adept at treasure hunting. This silver ferret was one such demon beast. The female cultivator took out a few feeding spirit pills from her storage bag, fed the silver ferret, stroked its small head and then sent it off to search. Before long, the ferret started giggling, pointing its front paw toward the cliff ahead. The 4 people gazed at the cliff before them, exchanged glances and seemed puzzled. One of them shot a flame bullet technique directly at the cliff. The cliff didn't explode with a bang upon facing the flame bullet, but merely rippled, dissolving the flame bullet. Formation. It turns out someone reached here first and set up an illusory formation. No wonder we've been searching for so long and haven't found it. Whoever set up the formation must have seen the golden Bodhi date tree and planned to wait until the secret realm closed to leave. Upon witnessing this, the 4 of them immediately understood the situation. Looking at the cliff in front of them, they all took out their magic artifacts, released their spiritual beasts and prepared to break the formation. After all, disciples entering the secret realm from the great immortal sects and the children of great families would try their best to find heavenly and earthly treasures. Setting up a formation like this and hiding in a cave would most likely belong to a loose cultivator or a junior member of a smaller family. Facing such loose cultivators or junior family members, they were naturally fearless. Seems it has been discovered after all. Inside the cave, Lu Chuanzhen let out a soft sigh. He had heard the commotion outside just now and knew someone had found the place. But his elder brother, Lu Pingon, was still refining the golden Bodhi date, so he stayed silent, hoping to mislead them with the formation. But after the recent flame bullet technique and seeing the attitude of the people outside, he knew a confrontation was imminent. Beast-taming Sioux family. Lu Chuanzhen, looking through the formation, recognized the clothes of the 4 people outside, knowing their identities and that they were formidable. Person inside, I'm going to count to 3, come out now. At that moment, a voice from outside rang out. Hearing this voice, Lu Quanzhen's eyes flashed coldly. He glanced at Lu Pingon deep in the cave and spoke in a calm tone, "Big brother, someone's coming. I'll go and send them away." At this point, Lu Pingon had almost completed the refinement of the more than 20 golden Bodhi dates and was at a critical juncture. His heart was thumping vigorously, his blood rushing forth torrentially, organs chiming incessantly, creating an invisible pressure. His entire being resembled a long brewing volcano on the verge of eruption. A burst dam, an endless brilliant treasure light flowing across his Bodhi's surface, seemingly forming some sort of mysterious pattern that emitted an overwhelming aura. After finishing his statement, Lu Chuanzhen released a second-rank puppet from his storage bag and hid it on the side. Then he placed a talisman treasure in his sleeve and held 2 second-rank talismans in his hands as he stepped out of the cave. After all, the formation was set up with a simple array device. At best, it could withstand a few assaults from peak of Qi refinement cultivators and certainly couldn't hold against the onslaught of the 4 people present. If the 4 of them decided to bombard the cave wildly, it would indeed affect Lu Pingon. Wait a moment, fellow Daoists. Lu Chuanzhen put on a somewhat panicked and rushed demeanor and shouted loudly towards the 4 people. He then continued, "I merely wish to hide here. I don't know in what way I've offended the fellow Daoists." "Hey, you know very well what offense you've committed. Hand over your storage bag now and leave this place and well spare your life." The 4 people and their 4 beasts were all staring at Lu Chuanzhen, exuding a crushing presence. One of them, a middle-aged man in his 30s, stood on a red bird high above and spoke with a commanding tone. Hearing these words, Lu Quanzhen's face showed a troubled expression and said, "If the fellow Daoists want this cave, I will leave right now. Don't play dumb, hand over the storage bag or die." Another cultivator, surrounded by a green large snake, spoke coldly and domineeringly. In their words, the green large snake coldly locked its gaze on Lu Chuanzhen, flicking its tongue as if ready to devour him. The 4 people and their 4 spiritual beasts, except for one of the female cultivators whose spiritual beast was a seemingly harmless silver ferret, all possessed formidable spiritual beasts. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 961. Heavenly Spirit Fruit, Go All Out. For this made Lu Chuanzhen feel for the first time that beast-taming cultivators were very troublesome. "Fine, I'm willing to hand over the storage bag." Lu Quanzhen's face showed a conflicted and frightened expression as he pretended to throw a storage bag. But in an instant he activated a talisman he was holding in his left hand. Buzz buzz buzz, dull bites and symbols appeared in the void, rolling towards the 4 individuals. Second-grade lower-quality talisman, Shocking Spirit Talisman. It shocked and disrupted the others' mental spirits, inducing emotions such as alarm, panic and fear. Lu Chuanzhen used this Shocking Spirit Talisman and immediately, the 4 individuals showed flaws in their mental spirits, slightly losing focus. Then he activated another second-grade lower-quality talisman in his hand, the Thunder Fire Talisman, and directed the Thunder Fire towards the female cultivator with a silver marten on her shoulder. This person's spiritual beast was a support type, indicating that her combat strength was likely somewhat inferior. He wanted to kill all 4 by himself, so he had to fight swiftly and decisively. Hoo. The Thunder Fire Talisman transformed into rolling purple thunderous flames, surging violently towards the 4 individuals. Be careful. These 4 were not simple either. The middle-aged man who spoke earlier seemed to have been prepared. Or perhaps he possessed a magic artifact related to the spiritual realm, and quickly came to his senses. But in the blink of an eye, the Thunder Fire Talisman had already reached the female cultivator playing with the marten. Ah! A shrill scream rang out, and although this female cultivator had a magic artifact that automatically protected its master, faced with a second-rank talisman, she was instantly turned into charred remains. Hong Yu. The middle-aged man with anger burning in his eyes, said to Lu Qianzhen with murderous intent, "You're seeking death." During his speech he took out a talisman from his bosom and used it, causing golden light to swirl around his body as he charged towards Lu Qianzhen. His underfoot spiritual beast Red Bird woke from the influence of the shocking spirit talisman, let out a long cry and spat out rolling flames, the momentum fierce. The other two cultivators also quickly regained their composure, their expressions shocked and furious, filled with killing intent. The cultivator surrounded by a green snake brandished a long blade magic artifact, directly attacking Lu Qianzhen with both man and snake. The other individual conjured a beige bowl, rising into the air, emitting a beige light and pressing down towards Lu Qianzhen with suppressive force. Facing such an onslaught, Lu Qianzhen immediately retreated into the cave, relying on the formation to block for a moment. Just when the three were in a rage, launching furious attacks at the formation from within the cave, a second-rank puppet burst out, its body entirely of black gold, wielding a blade in one hand and a shield in the other, withstanding the heavy attacks and charging straight at them. Clang! The second-rank puppet's black gold war blade moved with the force of wind and thunder, chopping at the cultivator surrounded by the green snake, causing him to stagger back. The green snake around him hissed and with a single chop, was bisected, blood splattering. Second-rank puppet? Seeing this, the Su family trio realized they had underestimated their enemy. They didn't expect a mere loose cultivator to not only possess a rare second-rank talisman but also a second-rank puppet. However, just as they were shocked and their faces turned grave, suddenly, a terrifying aura permeated the cave. Lu Qianzhen activated a talisman treasure in his hand, transforming it into a bronze spear, exuding soaring murderous energy. With a swoosh, it pierced through the air towards the snake-wrapped man. Facing this unexpected strike from the talisman treasure, even though the snake-wrapped man was prepared, his defenses were still broken. His chest to the back was punctured by the spear. Xianxia the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The snake-wrapped man's face showed shock and disbelief as he looked at his pierced chest, his eyes full of angry reluctance. He wanted to say something but his chest was already torn open, blood spurting, directly costing him his life. Xianxia. Run! Seeing this, the other two shouted in shock, turned around and fled, not daring to continue the fight. This motherfucker isn't a loose cultivator. One confrontation resulted in 2 second-rank talismans, followed by a second-rank puppet, and now a talisman treasure. Even if they were born into the beast-taming Su family, they could not possibly have such treatment. Only family young masters or nascent soul seed-level cultivators could have such treatment. Thinking of running away? Lu Qianzhen's eyes were filled with cold determination, not about to let the two escape. He remembered the beast-taming Su family had a total of 10 people, now there were only 4, most likely acting separately. Allowing someone to escape would surely bring trouble later on. Swoosh. Poochie. He multitasked, controlling the second-rank puppet and the talisman treasure, relentlessly attacking the Su family middle-aged man. Faced with such pincer attacks, even though the middle-aged man was extraordinary, he was hard-pressed to defend. Boom boom boom. The protective aura shattered in mere moments, then the bronze spear pierced through his body, his heart exploded and his life obliterated. Screech. The red bird cried mournfully, but the next moment, it was cleaved into 2 by the second-rank puppet, blood spraying the sky. Where are you going? Lu Qianzhen saw the last runaway, promptly put away the talisman treasure, and deployed the divine ping technique, pursuing. This Su family cultivator was already scared out of his wits by Lu Qianzhen. Seeing him approaching, he was terrified and immediately abandoned his own spiritual beast to delay Lu Qianzhen, frenziedly fleeing. 5 elements Kunping technique. Lu Qianzhen and the second-rank puppet together swiftly killed this spiritual beast. Blood-burning escape technique. He observed the rapidly disappearing Su family cultivator, face showing ruthlessness, both hands forming gesture incantations, resolutely deploying his secret life-saving technique, blood-burning escape technique. In the dense fog of the purple shadow mountain, once the opponent created some distance, it was possible to lose track. Moreover, one could encounter demon beasts or cultivators inside the mountain at any time, so he needed to end this quickly. Lu Qianzhen's strength and speed were already superior to his opponent. Now, fully deploying such a body-damaging secret technique, he instantly turned into a blood-colored rainbow, catching up with the opponent, and with a loud slap, a 5-colored torrent rolled, knocking the young man flying. Daoist, please. This person even tried to plead, but before he could finish speaking, a small 5-colored fish and the second-rank puppet came killing, penetrated the protective aura and decapitated him. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 962. Crushing Defeat, Beast Taming. Su family annihilated. Lu Qianxia easily turned the corpse before him to ash, then picked up the magic artifact and storage bag and headed back to the cave by the original route. Upon seeing the spiritual beasts cut in half along the way, the fresh blood beside the cliff precipices, and the 2 bodies with pierced chests, dead with their eyes wide open, along with the mutilated remains of the spiritual beasts, he burned them all to ash, cleaning up thoroughly. Then he returned to the cave with a calm and natural expression. Qianxia. Lu Pingon, hearing the movement, opened his eyes, his face filled with pain. He had just heard the noises outside. But he was in the critical moment of refining the golden Bodhi dates and couldn't move, much less speak. It was just a few jumping clowns, they've been taken care of. You don't have to worry, big brother, focus on your refining. Lu Qianxia said with a smile, his face showing a touch of paleness. The blood-burning escape technique consumed a lot of essence, blood and vitality. Even if he only used it for a moment, it had caused him a significant loss of vitality and essence blood, necessitating several months of recuperation. Okay. Lu Pingon saw his brother's pale face and felt a bit of guilt. But he couldn't afford to be distracted now, nodded and continued to close his eyes, circulating the 100 refinements treasure body art to refine the golden Bodhi dates within his body. Boom boom boom. Lu Pingon sat cross-legged, motionless like a great sun furnace, his body roaring, permeated with a fierce and dominant aura. He had previously swallowed the last 5 golden Bodhi dates in one go, making the medicinal strength extremely violent and overbearing, causing his tall and sturdy body to tremor, and his flesh and bones seemed to show signs of cracking. However, within the potent medicinal strength of the golden Bodhi dates, there was a majestic and rich life force that could heal injuries, nourish the cracks and remodel the flesh and restore broken bones. Moreover, as the 100 refinements treasure body art was crazily circulated, the magic artifact axe embedded in his chest bone continuously surged out its origin force, integrating into his limbs and marrow. Although this process was painful and torturous, Lu Pingon could clearly see his own improvement. His cultivation level had only broken through from the 7th level energy refinement to the 8th level. However, his physical body had vastly improved, charging directly towards the 6th layer of the 100 refinements treasure body technique. And who knows how much time had passed. Boom. Suddenly, a tsunami-like sound erupted within Lu Pingon's body, and his musculature shone with endless dazzling light, turning the cave golden. Is this a breakthrough? Lu Qianxia, hearing the activity, opened his eyes, his face showing a look of surprise. Lu Pingon remained seated cross-legged, his body glittering radiantly, a mighty and domineering aura rolling up and down with a golden luster, exerting an overwhelming pressure. This level of body refinement, even foundation establishment, would be nothing more. At this moment, Lu Qianxia felt the air become heavy, somewhat difficult to breathe, and couldn't help but step outside the cave to wait. During this process, his mental spirit was tense, observing the situation on the cliff precipices, worried that others might come. And so, several hours passed and the golden light in the cave gradually faded. Lu Pingon's muscular bodice golden luster slowly retracted and dissipated. Not long after, Lu Pingon opened his eyes, his gaze brimming with divine light, his pupils flowing with a compelling golden sheen. Phew! Lu Pingon let out a long breath of turbid energy, his eyes golden sheen introverted, dark and profound, shining brightly, his gaze piercing like torches. His body, cloaked in dark golden armor, emitted a zzz sound, burning off the impurities from his skin, turning into wisps of black smoke. After consuming 23 golden Bodhi dates, his cultivation level had broken through to the 8th level energy refinement. However, the advancement of cultivation level was only incidental. His real improvement came from the treasure body technique and the transformation of his flesh and bones. The The 100 Refinements treasure body art broke through from the 5th layer to the 6th layer. His meridians and bones became much more durable than before, granting his physical body and mana an increased upper limit. After all, only when the flesh, meridians and bones are durable can they withstand high-intensity bursts of strength and compressed mana. Congratulations, big brother. Lu Qianzhen congratulated Lu Pingon. From the recent commotion he saw that Lu Pingon had gained many benefits from the golden Bodhi date tree. He thought to himself that the golden Bodhi date was indeed not an ordinary spiritual medicine, one that must be offered up as its effects were truly exceptional. Even so, it was only a body-refining cultivator like Lu Pingon who could swallow and refine more than 20 golden Bodhi dates from the tree in a short period. Qianzhen, you've worked hard. Lu Pingon stood up, dressed in dark golden armor, his imposing figure towering, his face sincere, his eyes reflecting some guilt and self-blame. Previously, in order to maximize the efficacy of the golden Bodhi dates and break through realms, he had put himself in a state where he couldn't move. If it weren't for Lu Qianzhen, if someone had come in, his situation would have been very dangerous. Hey, big brother, you're too kind. Lu Qianzhen said with a smile. He had taken healing pills and his complexion no longer looked so pale. However, his appearance seemed somewhat worse and he still needed some time to fully recover. Qianzhen, not only did my cultivation level break through to the 8th level energy refinement, but my 100 Refinements treasure body technique also broke through to the 6th layer. Leave the rest to me now. Lu Pingon said with a firm voice. He roughly knew his combat strength and could ensure he handled the upcoming situations. The 100 Refinements treasure body technique 6th layer. Lu Qianzhen inwardly thought it was as expected. When he was at the 5th layer, his big brother could almost end the fights with 1 or 2 punches. Now that he had broken through to the 6th layer, couldn't he just bulldoze through the secret realm? He narrowed his eyes, smiled and nodded. Okay. Big brother, the people who came earlier were from the beast-taming Su family. Though I have dealt with them all, we might still be discovered by the Su family, so it's not suitable to stay here for long. Sarch ** the Nephire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Qianzhen said this. Although he had slain all 4 members of the Su family. But the Su family, being a nascent soul-level force, might have some means to locate them. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 963. Crumbling, beast-taming Su family annihilated. After all, clan cultivators are different from immortal sects disciples. Disciples of immortal sects may form small groups at most, and if others die, they die. It's only because they happen to encounter this and out of camaraderie they lend a hand and seek revenge. Otherwise, normally immortal sects disciples wouldn't waste time avenging their fellows. But clan disciples are different. They have blood ties and tend to be more united. Even if we don't mention the unity of family bonds, when a large family enters the secret realm and someone dies inside, the others must give a proper explanation to their family. Beast-taming Su family, good. Lu Pingon nodded, aware that this family, being a nascent soul family, was not simple. He carefully shattered the ground and then dug up the golden Bodhi date tree, handing it to Lu Qianzhen. Lu Qianzhen took out a bottle of spiritual liquid from his storage bag, poured it over the golden Bodhi date tree, then placed it into the spirit plant bag. Just as Lu Qianzhen was about to retract the formation, both brothers paused, exchanged glances, hearing some noise coming from the cliff. A moment later, through the formation, Lu Qianzhen saw 5 figures moving down towards the cliff base, continuously heading downwards, seemingly in search of something. Identifying them by their attire and the spiritual beasts beside them, he immediately recognized them as members of the beast-taming Su family. It seems they came here after following some tokens. Lu Qianzhen's eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a hint of coldness as he roughly guessed what was happening. Sarch * the Oval Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Previously, after he killed 4 members of the Su family, he naturally wouldn't miss out on the spoils from their storage bags. In the storage bags, tokens and other suspicious items that couldn't be destroyed were all thrown off the cliff. Now looking at these people's movements, he guessed they were led here by the sensing of those tokens. But it seems like the beast-taming Su family knows about this cave. Lu Qianzhen recalled the previous 4 members of the Su family discovering the cave, seemingly purposefully, aware of the cave's location. Squinting, he looked to Lu Pingon and said, "Brother, these 5 are from the beast-taming Su family, likely here as a result of the tokens of those previously. Although by having the 5 individuals head to the base of the cliff, the 2 could escape without conflict. Who knows whether these people have other means to track down the 2 of them. Given this, it might be better to take the initiative and eliminate them all." Earlier, from the Su family members' storage bags, he gained quite a bounty, securing many precious spiritual medicines. Even their main target, the heavenly spirit fruit, resulted in 2. These 5 people, as cultivators from the beast-taming Su family, would undoubtedly yield substantial gains. Why slowly search for heavenly and earthly treasures when killing for loot is faster? As for taking lives as a form of pillage, Lu Qianzhen had no moral qualms. After all, in this world, if you don't rob, others will. If he didn't strive or rob, how would his family rise, and how would he achieve core formation within a century? After truly stepping onto the path of cultivation, he started to view these matters indifferently. Or rather, from the first time he killed in the mortal realm, he gradually became indifferent to life. As soon as he arrived in the mortal realm, he could grant life and death, controlling others' lives. With just a simple move, countless lives would perish, and he felt a certain change in his spirit. "Qianzhen, are you suggesting?" Lu Pingon was momentarily stunned, roughly guessing his brother's intention. "Rather than waiting for them to make a move, we should take the initiative." Lu Qianzhen, dressed in a black robe and with a slender figure, lacking a bit of color on his face which made him resemble a delicate scholar, spoke softly. Seeing his brother's narrow eyes and the smile on his face, Lu Pingan's heart shuddered slightly and he spoke in a deep voice. "Okay, I'll handle them, Qianzhen, you support from the rear. These 5 are from the beast-taming Su family, all possessing spiritual beasts. Be careful, brother." Lu Qianzhen nodded with a smile. Although he was confident that the 2 of them could subdue the 5 from the Su family, even a lion uses full strength to catch a rabbit. "Rest assured." Lu Pingon nodded, knowing he needed to be swift and efficient. He stepped out of the cave, his eyes bright, looking towards the 5 figures descending towards the cliff base. Boom! Lu Pingan's inner energy circulated, his organs vibrated with a buzzing sound, like a dormant primordial fierce beast. His body glowed with a golden light, casting a cold metallic shine on his armor. Rumble! Following that, the rocks under his feet shattered, his tall form blasting out towards the cliff base, tearing through the layers of air, charging towards the 5. Ah! Roar, roar, roar. Oh good. Be careful. The 5 Su family members were all very alert. Coming here, following the token and seeing that another team had no news or movement, they realized something was off and came to investigate. "Who are you?" A middle-aged man around 40 years old shouted loudly. He was the leader of the Su family team. Seeing Lu Pingon with an overwhelming aura, which caused his spiritual beasts to howl in fear and sensing immense danger, his eyes filled with shock and disbelief. Seeing Lu Pingon coming closer, he dared not hesitate and shouted loudly, "Battle formations, Black Dragon Shears." Instantly the 5 formed a formation. This was a battle formation, allowing multiple energy refining cultivators to integrate their energies, combining offense and defense, greatly enhancing their combat power. The 5 organized themselves, their spiritual beasts encircling them, 2 of them performing gesture incantations, summoning magic artifacts to create a protective shield encapsulating them all. The other 3 each summoned a black long sword, a black long knife and black chains. These 3 artifacts under their control emitted black light, merging in the air into a scissor measuring a zhang in length. The scissors emitted a frightful cold black radiance, with a flood dragon flickering in and out of visibility, ferocious and terrifying, seemingly able to tear through anything charging towards Lu Pingon. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 964. Crumbling, Beast-Taming Su Family Annihilated. Boom! Lu Pingan's body shot through the air like a meteor, muscles bulging as he fearlessly hurled his already raised right arm out to meet the approaching black shears, not dodging in the slightest. "Idiot! To think you'd dare to catch our black dragon shears with your flesh and blood. Simply courting death." Truly, body refining has turned his brain to mush. The 5 from the Su family saw Lu Pingan's action and all sneered, scoffed and looked on with disdain. But the next moment, a golden fist struck out, accompanied by a sound of dragon's roar and tiger's howl, clashing directly with the black shears. Clang! A heaven-shaking, earth-shattering metallic symphony erupted, sparks flying everywhere. The violent, powerful force burst forth from the center of the fist and the shears, violently spreading out, sending rocks and soil from the cliffs rolling down and turning into dust. This. How is this possible? He's actually clashing fists with the black dragon shears. The 5 members of the Su family shouted in alarm, their eyes filled with disbelief, horror and shock. You should know their black dragon shears were no ordinary artifact. It was a combined spiritual artifact bestowed by the old patriarch of their family. Normally, it acted as 3 top-tier magic artifacts, but once combined, it qualified as a low-quality spiritual artifact. And it wasn't just any run-of-the-mill production line spiritual artifact. It was a top-grade spiritual artifact with power comparable to a middle-grade spiritual artifact. The 5 of them wielding these black dragon shears could engage in battle even with Foundation establishment cultivators. But now, Lu Pingan was confronting their low-quality spiritual artifact, the black dragon shears, with his fists. Clang clang clang. Lu Pingan's fists were like dragons as he continually hammered down on the black shears, sparks flying dazzlingly bright, causing the spiritual artifact to tremble frantically, its spiritual light dimming somewhat. Daoist, we do not know where we have offended you. If you have already claimed this place, we can leave. The lead member of the Su family shouted, waves of shock and dread rising in his heart. They hadn't anticipated that not only could Lu Pingan fend off their spiritual artifact with his fists, but he could also dim its spiritual light. This. They couldn't comprehend how such a humanoid fierce beast could appear inside the purple shadow secret realm. Who could refine their body cultivation to such a degree when their cultivation level was only at the 8th level of energy refinement. Boom boom boom. Lu Pingan remained silent, continuing to punch out with the sound of clanging resonating in all directions, echoes upon echoes as rocks and chunks of earth rolled and shattered. Daoist, we are from the beast-taming Su family of Jiang country. Could there be some misunderstanding between us? Another member of the Su family continued to shout out. Although they could guess why Lu Pingan was attacking, they really didn't want to continue the battle against such a body-refining cultivator. After all, entering the secret realm was for the purpose of seeking opportunities. There was no need to fight to the death. If both sides were harmed, neither would gain any benefit. Seeing Lu Pingan remain silent as he threw another punch, shattering the black dragon shears and dimming its light, anger flashed in the eyes of the few Su family cultivators. Daoist, do you really wish for both fish and net to be destroyed? Although your body refining is profound, killing all of us alone will come at a price. The 5 Su family cultivators shouted out loud. They were from the Su family, one of the top forces in Jiang country. 10 people had entered the secret realm, and only at the start had one of them been killed by someone for some unknown reason. The remaining 9 had traveled together, divided into 2 groups, with hardly anyone daring to provoke them. Now faced with Lu Pingan's challenge, they were naturally filled with anger. Kill. Seeing this, the 5 realized that it would be difficult to resolve the situation peacefully and thus attacked with all their might, intending to make Lu Pingan pay a price and retreat. They formed a battle formation controlling the black dragon shears, and simultaneously commanded their spiritual pets to kill Lu Pingan from the flank. One of them also distractedly threw out several talismans, bombarding Lu Pingan. Yet against such an onslaught, Lu Pingan remained fearless, merely turning his head to look at the tiger-like spiritual beast pouncing at him and spinning around to land a punch. His fist thundered like a drum beaten by gods and demons, breaking through the layers of air with a boom, tearing the massive body of the tiger apart, blood spraying everywhere. The talismans and techniques of the other 4 spiritual beasts fell upon Lu Pingan's body, causing a series of violent explosions, but they did not inflict any substantial damage. The 5 were horrified to see Lu Pingan's body refinement to be astonishingly resilient without any weaknesses. Not only could his physical strength clash with the black dragon shears, but his body also completely ignored their technique attacks. How could they fight against this? With what could they even fight? Open mountain. Lu Pingan's energy surged powerfully, treasure light flowing around his body, golden radiance entwining his form, dazzling like a layer of golden battle armor. His right arm soared like a dragon snake rising from the ground, roll with momentum, and behind him loomed a magnificent giant axe. The void thundered, and as he punched out, his force exploded, causing endless sounds of air being shattered. The giant axe, following his punch, descended from the sky dome, unleashing an infinitely terrifying fierce power, causing the dimmed black dragon shears to cry out sadly as they were sent flying, crashing directly into the defense formation of the five. Boom boom boom. It was as if the overwhelming force was vast like a prison, causing the defense formation to become dim, cracking densely, with the five inside shaken in chi and blood, pale-faced, spitting out blood. Damn it, damn it, damn it. At this moment, the members of the Su family felt as if they were shrouded in a thick cloud of death, their hearts sinking into despair. Yes, despair. Because in this exchange they no longer knew how to fight. They could not even breach Lu Pingan's defense. Go. The five exchanged glances, ready to use life-saving measures to flee for their lives. Only then might they have a sliver of a chance. In an instant they abandoned their four spiritual pets, charging at Lu Pingan to take the lead and using this method to buy time. Sir, the novel, IR. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible.